The following is a presentation of The Day.
A beautiful Wednesday night in Norwich, and Dodd Stadium is proud to host ECC High School baseball as Killingly High School tops in Division II of the ECC will come down to Norwich and take on the Wolves of Montville High School, a top team in Division III of the ECC, and all the action is live on Game Day. Game Day, proud to bring you high school baseball here as the spring season is in mid-form. Casey O'Neill along with, and this is a long resume here, Hartford Twilight Hall of Famer, Eastern Connecticut Hall of Famer, soon to be Waterford High School Hall of Famer, and former E.O. Smith head coach. I think that's as far as we'll go. Mike Susie, thank you so much for joining us on Game Day tonight, and get ready to get you back where you belong with some high school baseball.
I'm excited, Casey. I've been away for a while, and being out here, it kind of gave me the little butterflies like I was coaching or playing, and we're going to see some great baseball. Two great coaches over at Killingly and Montville, and I'm really excited to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we talked a little bit about that. Ben DeSonia and Scott Chasen, great resumes and pedigrees. No surprise that these two programs are thriving. So let's take a moment to go through the starting lineups for tonight's game. For Killingly, leading off the second baseman, Hayden Larrow. The catcher, Brady Zadora, bats second. Third baseman, Ashton Goodwin, hits third. First baseman, Michael Fabiano, he of the grade 8 and 2 home runs, bats cleanup. Lincoln Waterman, the shortstop, will bat fifth. Jake Beaudreau, the designated hitter, will hit sixth. He will bat for the pitcher, Dom Cabrera. The seventh hitter, Joseph Gould, in left field. Alex Murdoch, the right fielder, bats eighth, and Jake Voyer, the center fielder, bats ninth. On the mound for Montville is Chase Malburn, and in the box, Hayden Larrow, the second baseman, and pitch number one is underway. Fastball rides high, and we're underway here. It is 1-0 on Larrow.
Beautiful night here, Case. This is a great venue.
Malburn pounds the fastball on the outside part of the plate, evens the count at 1. Malburn, one of what Coach Chasen calls a series of number 2 pitchers that he has. Breaking ball drops in. That's a good pitch, and it's 1-2 on Larrow. Coach Chasen says he doesn't have an ace, but he's got like 5 guys who are his number 2s. They all pitch interdispersed amongst each other, and one of them here.
The good thing for Chasen is he doesn't drop off. If he's got 4 or 5 guys that are 2s, you might not have your 1, but having those guys, you can go to anybody.
And you see Malburn here in a 2-2 count, already good stuff. As he misses and is in danger of losing a Larrow. You don't want to walk anybody. You certainly don't want to walk the leadoff hitter, and you certainly don't want to do it after you are ahead 1-2 in the count.
Coach's nightmare. Walking the leadoff guy. What did they say, 80% Case?
It feels like 90. It feels like 95%, right?
In high school.
It's like every time the leadoff hitter walks, they're going to find a way to score. There's just too many ways to advance base to base in high school. So this is a big pitch here early for Malburn, the 3-2. Fastball fouled straight back. Good swing by Larrow as he's making Malburn work here to lead off the game. An underappreciated part of a leadoff hitter, right? Seeing pitches, letting other people get an idea of the stuff. 3-2 again. Fastball fouled, peeled off the right side. The count remains full.
And that helps the guys on deck because they're seeing every pitch that Malburn is throwing and be able to get a good sense when they get in the box. They're not just seeing fastballs. They've seen everything he's thrown so far.
At this point, you got to think the fastball is the primary pitch. You don't want to walk a hitter, but I think if he could throw anything off speed in the zone, he could get Larrow here. 3-2 again, and he spins the breaking ball, strike 3, swinging, and you saw Larrow was fooled.
He was not ready. What do we always say, Case? Look away, protect in, right? You got to look hard and look, protect soft too, but he just wasn't ready. He was looking fastball. He got 2 of them, and you saw his hands drop on that one. He just was not ready for the breaking ball.
The catcher, Brady Zadora, steps in. Zadora's going to be heading to RIC to play baseball next year. And that's a good fastball by Malburn on the outside part of the plate. 0-1.
Doesn't look like the shadows are going to be anything right now. Shadows behind the pitcher.
Fastball high, hit down the right field line, running and making the catch down on the edge of the right field line is Jeremy Parkos, the right fielder on a good defensive Wolves team.
That might have been 4. If that gets by him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ball that, as an outfielder, you have to make a judgment right away, right? Is that something that I can get to comfortably? And if not, let it drop, but he was comfortable and he got it. And 2 outs here, help for Malvern as Ashton Goodwin, the third baseman, steps in and takes a ball outside. So pitcher's best friend, good defensive players, pound the zone, put it in play, trust those guys to do their work. 2-seam fastball drops in, evens the count at 1 on Ashton Goodwin, the third baseman for Killingly, senior. Breaking ball hammered into the left center field gap. Richmond's on his horse. He's not going to get that one. It goes all the way to the warning track and into second base with a stand-up double is Ashton Goodwin. Now he's heading to Eastern Connecticut. That's a Eastern Connecticut swing right there.
As an alum, we'd like to see that, Biggest thing there, though, at Case is the outfielders with 2 outs needed to move back a little bit because you don't want to give up the double, and they did that. And there's big gaps out there in this field, and they need to do a little bit of better job of moving back maybe in that situation and giving up the single instead of the double. Now you got a guy in scoring position.
Brings up Fabiano. Fastball low. Now, Michael Fabiano just made this past week's grade 8 because with a 2-homer game against Ellis Tech. The first one I described as Beimba because it was absolutely toasted. So dangerous spot here for Malvern with a 2-out double. He'll be careful with Fabiano. Good fastball there, evens the count 1-1.
Here with your infield, hopefully they get on their bellies and keep the ball in the infield so they don't give up a run.
Montville prides itself on the grittiness. Middle infield, Johnson and Payne, very good. Fastball down, count is 2-1. And I'm surprised, honestly, that Malvern is going after Fabiano with fastballs. I thought he'd be a little bit careful with the open base. 2-1 pitch. On the ground to the second baseman, Johnson, up and throws, and he gets Fabiano to end the inning. 4-3. And Killingly leaves a runner stranded at second in the first inning after a nice job by Malvern to get out of danger. So as we head down to the bottom of the first, it's time to give you the Montville lineup. Leading off and playing first base. And speaking of college-bound baseball players, here's a D1 kid right there, Jack Treat, only a junior, already committed. He's going to go to Bryant and play that quality baseball that we see from the ECC kids that have gone there. Shortstop Cam Payne batting second. Aiden Johnson, the second baseman, bats third. Hunter Sylvia, the third baseman, hits cleanup. Chase Malvern, the pitcher, bats fifth. Riley Byer, the catcher, bats sixth. Cole Chasen, also of the grade 8 with a walk-off single, bats seventh in left field. Andrew McElwee is the designated hitter. The center fielder is Eric Richmond. And batting ninth, the right fielder who we saw make a nice play, Jeremy Parkos. And they will be trying to scratch it together against Dom Cabrera. Cabrera is the tall, hard-throwing right-hander, senior. He'll be facing a very good Wolves lineup. This Killingly team prides itself on its pitching. This Montville team prides itself on its lineup. It's a deep lineup. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They run, they hit for power, and it starts right at the top of the lineup with Jack Treat. When you've got a college kid like Treat leading off, he's got a great strike zone. He's worked very hard in his early teens to reshape his body. He jokes that he was a pudgy little leaguer. It helps when you hit that helps when you hit the growth spurt to 6 feet.
Definitely.
But he's worked really hard. No one I think works harder at being a baseball player than Treat does, and that's the kind of guy you want in the leadoff spot, and he gets the tone set for Montville.
When you got a dad, you got a pedigree, you got baseball in your blood. That's the one thing. I think we're getting old, Case, when we see a lot of these names that I've either played with or coached their kids or coached against them. Now all of a sudden they've got kids coming in.
Treat and Payne, Josh Payne, of course, the father of Cam. I mean, they're younger than me and you, so these are like our grandkids out here playing.
We're definitely getting old.
Montville has not played quite as many games as Killingly. They come into this one in the 7-1. Their only loss was to Stonington. We'll talk a little bit about the topsy-turvy Division III in a moment. Killingly has 2 losses, East Lyme and Waterford. They lost to Waterford yesterday in a very, very tough one. And more importantly for them, they lost with their ace, Landon Manzi, who's heading to Northeastern on the mound. A lot of pitching in Killingly. Manzi is the best of the bunch. And Waterford, who has had a very good year so far, found a way to beat him. So East Lyme and Waterford have beaten Killingly. Montville's only loss was to Stonington. The one thing that all 3 of those teams have in common is big-time arms. East Lyme has multiple hard throwers. So does Waterford. So does Stonington.
And you can go back to when we played Case in the 80s, but there's always been arms in the ECC, no matter what. Every team had a guy that could throw it. You know what I mean? And it's no shock to me. Even if I've been away for a while, coming back, you telling me that the arms are here. It's not a shock to me.
Kubera facing Treat, leading off here in the bottom of the first for the Wolves. Breaking ball in the inside part of the plate. One thing you'll know about Treat is he will not chase. He is very disciplined. He's got a big zone. He hits a lot of different pitches, but he will pick a pitch. Fastball, hammered, deep to right field. That is well over the head and off the wall. Treat will cruise into second base with an absolute bomb. He says it went over the wall. He thought it was a home run.
Well, the yellow line isn't the home run.
It is, and he thought it went over the top of the yellow line. I don't think the official is going to see it that way, and Treat may have gotten robbed of the one place we've seen home runs hit here down that right field line. But that's what I said. He'll pick a pitch out and hammer it, and he certainly did.
When I was coaching at E.O. Smith, we played here a few times. Didn't see one ball go out, but that ball was smoked. He's got a classic left-handed swing, man. That is very nice.
The kid can play. That'll bring up the shortstop, Cam Payne. Look for Payne to try to move him over. And that one is going to be fouled out of play. So the Wolves put a lot of pressure on you. Guys can swing the bat up and down the lineup. And that means that if you are the pitcher, Kubera, you are absolutely have to be careful with every pitch you throw. Nothing easy given by Montville.
They are hunting fastballs. They have sat on the breaking ball, and they have gone after the fastball.
Backside play. And Treat gets back in safely. Now, Treat can run. I don't think he'll be going anywhere here, but he is definitely speed on the base path, so they're going to have to pay attention to him. He's very savvy. He'll pick off a base if you give it to him. Breaking ball, drops in for a strike, and that's, I think, you picked up on something. If Kubera's going to be successful, he's going to have to throw that breaking ball for strikes.
He's got to definitely throw for strikes. They are definitely hunting fastballs right now, which is a smart thing to do.
0-2 pitch on Payne. Breaking ball high, 1-2, and now as a hitter, I don't ever like giving myself up by slapping the ball the other way, but right now, first inning, down 1-2. If he gets anything on the outside part of the plate, he needs to go after and put it in play.
Yep, get it to the right side, get Treat to third base.
But Kubera just has, other than that one we saw drop in, he just hasn't been able to locate the breaking ball.
And Montville's doing a good job of not swinging at them.
Big pitch here for Kubera in the bottom of the first. Treat on second, nobody out. 2-2 to Cam Payne. Breaking ball just inside and high off the plate. And that'll put the count at 3-2. Aiden Johnson, the second baseman, waits on deck. Montville trying to do something early here and get on top of Killingly in the first. Treat leads off a second. The pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate. Payne didn't like it, and that was a pitcher's pitch, painted on the outside corner.
That's a tough pitch, but again, it looked like he was looking breaking ball, which they hadn't done, and he looked like he did there, and he got froze on a fastball in the outer half.
And that's the one thing you can't have happen there. You got to expand your strike zone, especially on a fastball. Johnson rips it into left field, base hit. They're waving Treat. He'll try to score, and now a late hold. Treat recognized it, got back to third. Johnson moves up to second.
Great job by Johnson seeing the throw high and taking second base. That's why you're told, stay through the cutoff man so that that guy doesn't get an extra base. Now you got two guys in scoring position.
Second and third for the third baseman, Hunter Sylvia. Montville looking to get on the board here first. I think Treat was being waved. I think he saw where the left fielder came up, made a strong throw, and he put the brakes on himself. But give credit, the defense there, for Killingly, at least for now, saved a run. Breaking ball high on Sylvia. So that was Joseph Gould, the left fielder. He came hard and made a really strong throw. But the way the throw missed the cutoff man did allow Johnson to move up.
So biggest thing right now for the pitcher is everything's up with his breaking ball. He's just got to finish. He's got to finish his breaking ball. He's just kind of leaving it out there, as we would say. So he needs to be kind of karate chopping it down and get it down in the zone. He's just leaving it out there. That was a little better.
Back to the mound.
Great job right there.
With the breaking ball, Sylvia is out 1-3, and the runs do not come in. They remain at second and third. So here's a big chance for Chase Malburn. He's the pitcher. Right now he's got a chance to give himself, right?
Help yourself right here.
That's right. Okay, guys. I'll do it myself. Malburn, the 5-hitter, and the starting pitcher. Two ducks on the pond, as they say. Slow breaking ball off the plate, 1-0.
But that was a better breaking ball. It was down in the zone. He got on top of it, and he finished that one. So
runners lead from second and third. The pitch, breaking ball high. And that could have been called a strike, but I like the zone there. I don't love those high breaking balls, but that was right at the top of the letters.
Well, biggest thing for me is if you're consistent, be consistent. If you got a big zone, great. If you got a small zone, then stay small. If you got a high zone, stay high. Just don't change it.
Yeah, the wandering, surprise zones. I know we don't like those. 2-0 pitch. Fouled out of play, straight back into the seats. Clang.
It's also why I'm sitting here and not sitting in the dugout anymore sometimes.
Slow reaction times. Well,
the umpire zones.
Wandering zones.
Wandering zones.
Well, you and Peter Wappy, our producer, share something in common. You guys both had hip replacements.
Yeah.
But yours, you said, came more from leaning up against the dugout fence than maybe you did even playing. Good breaking ball, but just off the plate, and Malburn doesn't chase. It's going to be 3-1. This right here is a classic baseball spot, right? Open base, 5-hitter. 3-1 count. You know he's sitting on a fastball.
Yeah, you're boxing something right here. It's your pitch, your spot. One pitch. There you go.
Fastball high, loads the bases. The catcher, Riley Byer, the 6-hitter with a chance to make some noise here in the early going for the Wolves as they have the bases loaded, 2 outs.
Catcher number 2.
Now I know Riley, good kid, but I'm just going to say it. I don't love the sweatshirt look.
You don't like the hood?
Don't love the hoodie. Good kid, good player. You're going to have to do something right here to overcome the hoodie look. Cabrera from the windup. Fastball down.
I mean, he's struggling a little bit in the zone, but at least he's down with his fastball, like I said.
1-0 fastball. Hammered. Center field, but it's going to hang up in the air, and the center fielder Voyer corrals it, and we are at the end of 1. No score here after 1 between the Montville Wolves and the Killingly High School baseball team. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Started when I was 3 years old. I would always be in the backyard with my dad playing, taking swings, throwing with him. Both my parents went to Montville. And we were always in on the Montville tradition, coming to games as a kid, going to baseball, basketball, the football games and stuff. We really, surrounded ourselves in a great community, and it really helped me, growing up, wanting to play for Montville.
He's been playing with us since Little League, about when he was 6 years old in T-ball. Coached part of his teams in Little League. grew up, knowing his sister as well, knowing his whole family this whole time. Played against his dad, back in high school.
I've known Scott since I was 6 years old, playing Little League. Our families know each other very well, and we've always kind of had a close relationship. Player coach kind of. Anything I ever needed, I could always go to Scott. He's helped me so much in my baseball journey and whole career, and he's just been a huge role model and someone that I could always go ask questions about and just learn more about the game. As a Little League, I was always kind of the short, little chubbier kid, so they stuck me over at first base, the lefty. I always tried to play shortstop a little bit, just messing around, but kind of first base was where it kind of all started.
I know he's going to go to college as a first baseman / outfielder, but for this team, it's kind of whatever we need. And Jack will kind of basically play wherever we tell him. It could be third base at times as a lefty, which I've never had in my 14-year career. It'll be outfield when we need an outfielder. Pitching when we need a game. I think he won 5 games last year on the mound. But kind of wherever I put him, he'll play.
I think last year we surprised a lot of people. We played well, but I think this year we returned 8 starters, and we're all just getting older, stronger, more mature. And I think a lot of guys here have made huge leaps, and I think this year is going to be really good.
This is probably the first year that I had high expectations since probably 2019 with Ledger. This team has the ability to play well. They have the ability to hit. They have the ability to field the ball when they should. And we have enough pitching that we should get us by. I always tell everybody we have like 4 number 2s. All these guys are good. They all can get outs. We just need to continuously repeat everything we do every day. Play the right way and just play the baseball we should. We swing it well, so I hope that it continues the rest of the year.
Top of the second inning here at Dodd Stadium. Killingly and Montville each threatened in their part of the first inning, but neither was able to get a run across. And so Killingly will send up its 5, 6, and 7 hitters. That'd be Waterman, Boudreau, and Gould here in the top of the second against Chase Malburn, the right-hander from Montville who escaped a 2-out double in the first. And he'll be going to work against the middle to bottom of the order for Killingly.
Malburn going right from the stretch. You've seen that a lot more.
I think we see it in the pros now too. Guys who just want to be able to get themselves up into that position. Breaking ball swung on and missed as Waterman, I think, was looking breaking ball first pitch there because he was right on it, just swung through it.
Just simplifies things, especially with the little kids. Like when you're young, 9, 10, 11, I think just going straight from the stretch is the best thing to do.
Oh, moving parts, right? That ball is hit hard into left field for a base hit. Mishandled briefly by the left fielder Cole Chasen, but not enough. And Waterman is on to start the second inning with a single, and that'll bring up the designated hitter Jake Boudreau. We'll see if they challenge Byer. Chopper to the left side. That's going to sneak through. And on to second goes Waterman. Boudreau with a classic, I call that the Ichiro.
Inside out.
That's the old the left-hander slap job right there. But it sets up Gould. Now, here's an interesting spot, right? High school baseball 101 says you bunt because there's runners on first and second and nobody out. Now, you know that I think bunt is a 4-letter word, and it's your 7-hitter. So
and you're bunting to your 8-hitter.
And my question is, why is he hitting 8 if you're going to bunt into him?
He's going to bunt into him.
But Montville doesn't think it so, but they're sending Treat up a little bit. And fastball from Malburn in for a strike. Joseph Gould showed no sign of laying one down there, which restores a little bit of my faith in baseball.
Well, sometimes, as a coach, you just got to read the situation. And I loved playing for big innings because you're giving up an out. Especially now you got to hope that your 8-hitter gets a hit.
In the meantime, beautiful breaking ball by Malburn. Count is 0-2 on Gould. Gould really needs to put this one in play with runners on first and second and nobody out. High fastball swung on and missed. And Malburn went right after Gould and set him down, and that'll bring up the 8-hitter, Alex Murdoch, the right fielder. The most precious thing in baseball are outs. You don't ever want to voluntarily give one to the other team, and so that's why bunting is problematic. It's too easy to make outs on your own, so you don't want to give one away. Fastball for a strike. I like Malburn's tempo.
Yep.
And
He's
I
getting
like
the
his
ball,
command.
getting right back on the mound and throwing, and quick pace, which you'd love to see as a coach.
Murdoch, the right fielder. And a spin move off Malburn, but nothing there. Waterman wasn't really threatening, just kind of bouncing around. The 0-1 pitch from Malburn. Fastball, chopper. Malburn will field it. Throws quickly. Treat with a nice footwork over at first base. Handles it. And the runners will advance, but 2 outs now here in the top of the second on a nice play by Malburn.
That one came off the plate funny. At first I thought it hit his foot because the umpire was in the way.
Well, as the batter, that's when you have to go down like
And
someone
jumping
shot.
around. Oh, yeah, because you're not getting to first base.
Center fielder Jake Voyer, the number 9 hitter, will step in with a chance to get Killingly on the board. Malburn trying to work out of his second consecutive jam.
See, now my only concern now is the third baseman's a little close here, and unless he's a bunter, and you know this, which I don't know, but you don't want to make the field bigger and let him sneak one through. You need to give yourself a little space here.
You know, I'd like to see the third baseman playing about 2 more steps
Yeah.
to his left. I don't worry about him sneaking one down the left field line.
No.
But I see how they slapped that ball earlier. I would definitely consider that. Fastball away, 2-1 on Voyer.
Same, you want to keep the ball in the infield here. You don't want to give up 2.
Malburn. 2-1 pitch. Time is called. Voyer will step right back in the box. And here comes the 2-1. Well outside, 3-1. And as we said, you don't want to walk your leadoff hitter. You definitely don't want to walk your 9 hitter. They don't want to see Hayden Lowry come back up here with the bases loaded. Big pitch here, 3-1. Malburn delivers. Fastball high, and he walked him.
So this is the thing as a coach that I stress to my pitchers constantly. Malburn has thrown the last 4 fastballs up and away. So if I'm teaching him enough, he needs to know that his arm is dragging. After 2, he needs to make an adjustment. He just did that 4 times. He needs to step back and understand he's got to get on top of this one right here and get down playing.
Leadoff hitter Hayden Lowry, the second baseman, with a big opportunity. Bases loaded. Malburn rolls a breaking ball in high. That's another way of sometimes resetting the arm.
I was going to say, if you throw a breaking ball here, get you on top, get you down angle a little better with your arm angle.
Lowry struck out on a 3-2 pitch in the first. He's got a 1-0 hitter's count right here. Fastball high.
I was going to say, there's now Scott is going out, which I said, biggest thing for me was as a pitcher or kid that pitched for me, if you keep throwing it that way, you've got to make an adjustment. You got to understand, what you're doing out there. You got to know your mechanics. Sometimes you have to be your best pitching coach. Coach can't be with you constantly. He's not on the mound with you. He's not standing behind you telling you what you're doing. You got to understand mechanics. And his arm is just dragging right now. So again, like you said, Case, getting that breaking ball, getting on top of something, will get it. But next fastball was up and away again. So he's just really got to concentrate on being a little quicker, getting the ball out of his glove and getting on top.
And that's the thing. So the arm drag can be a function of a couple different things. He could be not closing with his leg, getting himself onto his right side to give himself time with his arm, or ball not coming out of the glove fast enough. Something is occurring. Maybe the foot coming down a little too quick, so the arm's dragging behind. But he's got to make a pitch here on 2-0. And he does. A perfect hitter's fastball, and Lowry fouls it back. But great job by Scott Chasen. He went out to the mound, and immediately a fastball got in the zone.
Yep, very good mound visit.
2-1, pitch a decision. Most important pitch in baseball. Huge difference between 2-2 and 3-1. What does Malburn throw here? A fastball down, and the count is 3-1 on Lowry, and he's got to be looking for a pitch
He's got
size of a baseball.
Yep, boxing something right here. His pitch, one spot. Best swing.
3-1.
There it was.
Foul ball just wide down the left field line. Will fill the count up, and now we've got one of my favorite things in all of baseball. 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. Everyone's moving. It's total chaos. Cats and dogs living together.
Just getting out there and going across the diamond here in this situation. Understanding everyone's going to be going crazy. Ball's going to, guys going to be running around.
Yeah, this is one of those things where as an infielder, a ground ball becomes a carnival because you've got runners running in front of you. You probably don't have any force plays. It's very chaotic. You got to stay down, stay in your rhythm. But the first thing is Malvern's got to throw a strike on 3-2, knowing that everything is moving here on this pitch. 3-2 to Laro. Everyone's going to be moving, and there they go. Fastball swung and missed. Strike 3. Laro goes down swinging for the second time. Malvern fights through it, leaves the bases loaded, and at this point, no one has been able to punch one across despite everyone having runners on base in all of their at-bats. And as we head to the bottom of the second, we stay scoreless. Give Malvern credit. After the mound visit from Chasen, he found that fastball and was able to locate.
Definitely. Great mound visit by Scott. He went out, calmed him down in that situation. You know, the biggest thing is the kid's frustrated. He's frustrated with himself. Calms him down a little bit, gets a big out. This is kind of like a heavyweight championship fight right now, right?
I'm sorry, there's an ice cream truck? If I disappear between like innings 3 and 4, just remember that's I'm probably getting a king cone.
A bomb pop?
A bomb pop would work as well.
Do you remember Circus Surprise? That was the one when I was a kid. So it was raspberry sherbet on a plastic stick, and inside of the raspberry was a circus animal.
Yes, I do.
And the ice cream truck that we had in my neighborhood, if you got a certain animal, you got a free ice cream. So the only thing we would do, we would take it, rip the sherbet off, and look to see if we got the free ice cream, and we'd waste it. But you know.
That's Waterford. That's that Longview logic right there. I can't see Mark Cleary ripping sherbet off the top of it.
I think I learned it from the older guys.
I could see Scotty Tanucci doing that.
My brothers.
So as we head to the bottom of the second inning, Montville will have the bottom 3 in their order. Cole Chasen, Andrew McElwee, and Jeremy Parkos, the left fielder, designated hitter, and right fielder, respectively, on a beautiful night here at Dodd Stadium. As the ECC takes center stage here on the baseball diamond, game day. We had men's volleyball on Monday, a little baseball tonight. We'll have softball, we had lacrosse, we'll have track and field, a little bit of everything here in a springtime for game day.
You guys do a great job. This is great for the local ECC kids. I mean, imagine if we had this when we were kids. I mean, we had what did we have when we were kids? Didn't we have something that
WNLC radio?
No, we had TV.
Well, they had
who did
the local cable access.
Cable access did some stuff, some games. I remember.
They did the Thanksgiving Day game forever. Dom Kubera, the 1-0 pitch, fastball fouled back by Chasen. So he was chasing the high fastball right there. And the count evens at 1. Kubera right back to the mound. Breaking ball slapped up the middle, and that's going to get through for a hit.
I don't know how he got that.
First of all, that breaking ball was in his eyes.
It looked like his hands dropped a little bit. He got the barrel to it. I don't know how he got that pitch, but he got it.
He did,
a good job.
And he got a single, and that is one of those ones where later in the season, you're like, I remember I ripped that one. I
smoked that ball up the middle at Dodd.
I almost got the pitcher. He's lucky. That'll bring up Andrew McElwee, the designated hitter, and one of those number 2s that Coach Chasen referred to. McElwee has thrown many of their big games this year. Him and Jack Treat, Malvern, among others. Runner on first, throw over, a little show-me throw over. Chasen does have good speed. He will run. Hole on the right side with the left-hander, McElwee. Fastball high, ball 2.
I would love to see some action here. Just get the runners moving. Biggest thing in high school was you got to get a pitcher to throw a strike. You got to get a catcher to throw the ball down to second base. If you get a decent jump, a lot of times you can steal bases.
2-0 fouled back, 2-1. Now is the classic hit and run count, and I do think if you see Chasen go here, it will be on a hit and run. 2-1 pitch coming from Cabrera. Nothing moving. And a generous strike on the outside part of the plate evens the count at 2.
Definitely slid off the plate a little bit. Catcher did a little slide of the glove. I don't know about that one.
2-2 pitch coming to McElwee. Breaking ball, strike 3 on the outside corner. Tough at bat for McElwee as he's caught looking. And I'll bring up the number 9 hitter, right fielder, Jeremy Parkos.
It's just one of those pitches that takes you right out of your bat. You know, you possibly have a good take, and you get a strike called on it, and it gets in your head, and you look at the breaking ball.
It always seemed to happen that way when you were struggling too, right? You're struggling a little bit, you get the pitch off the plate called for you, the high breaking ball called against you.
You walk in the batter's box, you're 0-2.
Fastball picked by Zadora, as that one had backstop written all over it, but Zadora calmly picked it, and it's 1-0 on Parkos.
A lot more picks on catchers than blocks. I know you're shaking your head on that, but that's the way they're teaching it now, and it does. It frustrated me.
2-0 as the fastball sails high. I see it even, you know, with catchers who are going on to play college, and Zadora is going to RIC. You know, and yet I don't get it, but 2-0 pitch. And it's
also, you know, sitting on a leg with guys on base and not being in a secondary stance, you would call it, when there's a runner on base, where you're kind of more than athletic than sitting back and being ready to throw or block or anything, where they're not doing that anymore. And like I said, I'm old. We're old.
We are. 2-1 pitch coming to Parkos. Breaking ball on the outside corner. That's a good pitch.
That was a great pitch. That was one of the better pitches he's thrown tonight. That was a great pitch right there.
Drops it in 2-2 on Parkos. Chasen has been quiet over there at first base, has a very small lead, not threatening at all. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball just down. And I don't know, Parkos didn't offer it that one, and I was a little surprised. So 3-2. I got to think Chasen's on the move here, even with the one out.
He definitely was guessing in that pitch right there, because that was a tough pitch to take.
No movement from Chasen, and the fastball swung on and missed by Parkos. A good pitch from Kubera, and 2 outs, and it brings up. And maybe that's why you don't send the runner there, because
now you got Treat coming up.
I need to get Jack, and I need Jack to get it to see pitches here with runner on base. Treat, who led off the game with a rocket shot off the right field fence that may have been out, but was called a double, has a chance here with a runner on first and 2 outs.
But would you rather have first and second with your 2-hitter up, or would you rather have a guy on first base with one of your better hitters up? So it's really just preference. I would rather have a guy at second base.
I just want Jack up with anybody on base. And that, by the way, good curveball dropped in, and see if he comes right back to the breaking ball here, 0-1.
I don't think he's going to see too many fastballs after the one he hit.
2 back-to-back breaking balls, 0-2. Problem though is Treat's such a good hitter. If you just show him enough breaking balls, he'll stay on one. He'll serve it out to left field. Stays behind the ball really well. And so the question is, do you have the nerve to try to get him to chase, or are you going to go right back to the breaking ball here on 0-2? I think it's a chase fastball. It is.
There it is.
And he hits a bullet right through the third baseman. I don't care what the official score says. That's a base hit, because that ball was through him before he could move.
So that pitch right there was a mistake. You want black. You got 0-2. You want blacking out. You want nothing near the zone. You want Treat to chase enough to get himself out. He had too much of the plate there on that 0-2 pitch. His catcher needed to move a little more, get his body outside so that nothing was going over the plate, and that he just kind of left it right over the part of the plate.
Chance for campaign here. 2 outs, runners on first and second. The pitch, ground ball to third, and hustling over to the bag and making the play is Goodwin to retire the side. So again, we've had runners on in every inning, but no one's been able to push one through. We're done with 2. No score here at Dodd Stadium between the Wolves and Killingly High School. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Hayden's freshman year, when he came in, he loved baseball, came in with a really big freshman group, talented group. I think he was very raw. Like, he had skill for sure, but for this group of seniors, I would argue like a role player more. His sophomore year, he started for us at second base. I believe he started the season hitting 8th. And then last year, really worked hard to improve himself as a hitter. And by the end of the season, with like 4 or 5 games left, he was leading the team in average, leading the team in on-base percentage. So we moved him up. He worked his way up 6th, 5th, And finally we tried him up in the leadoff spot, and that was kind of where he finished the year last year.
It's fun being able to set the tone of the game, get on, and then when you have the best 2, 3, 4, I think in the ECC it really helps.
These guys literally have been playing together since they were like 9 years old.
First memories, the good ones would be AAU and 9U. About like 4 of us were on the same AAU team, and we ended up winning the New England AAU championship.
For me, that's been kind of cool to watch them grow together and, you know, continue to like stick together, because a lot of times you see that in small towns, and then like slowly as they get older, like guys stop playing or they break apart or go to other schools or do different things. Like these guys they've really stuck together, and it's been very fun. It's kind of like, feels like this season's almost like a culmination point.
Yeah, it's definitely special. I mean, just growing up together really helped us.
Top of the third, catcher Brady Zadora leads off. Chase Malburn misses just outside, 1-0. Zadora lined out to right field. Nice running play by Parkos in the first. And he goes that way again. This time, base hit right down the right field line. Let's see if Zadora is thinking too. He puts on the brakes and settles for a leadoff single to start the third.
What did I say in the break? Bantamweight fight right now. They are winging. They are throwing punches, but no one is strong enough to knock anybody out yet. No one's punched one across.
Ashton Goodwin, the third baseman, he doubled in the first inning. That was a bit of a haymaker to left center field into the gap, and that's what Killingly wants right here with their leadoff hitter Zadora on first. Fastball from Malburn is just high, 1-0. Neither team doing a lot of running, most being stationary, looking for that big hit.
Malburn's quick to the plate. He does a good job getting the ball to the plate, but the Killingly guy's a little longer. Maybe that's because the catcher is a very good catcher. I don't know him very well, but he's going to Rhode Island College, so he's got to be pretty good if he's playing college baseball at the next level and he's a catcher. So I can understand maybe not running, but Chase does a good job of getting rid of the baseball very quickly.
1-0 is down. Zadora takes advantage of it, goes to second, and then will move to third on the throwing error from Byer as he sailed it. So that's going to be a wild pitch and an E2, which gets Zadora over to third with nobody out. And Goodwin, in a 2-1 count, will have a chance to bring in the first run of the ballgame.
That's a great dirt ball read right there in that situation. Ball hit the dirt, he took off, catcher couldn't handle it. Now he's on third base with no outs.
Yeah, seemingly harmless, and now you got a runner on third. So Malburn, who has been in trouble, will have to dig deep here as he's got the middle of Killingly's order. Goodwin, then Fabiano, and Waterman. Runner on third and nobody out. 2-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Hit back up the middle. Nice play by Payne to get the out, but the first run of the inning of the game comes across as Zadora scores. Goodwin gets the RBI, and with one out, it's 1-0 Killingly here in the top of the third, and Michael Fabiano, the first baseman, will step in.
We talked about that before the game, small ball and stuff like that. That was actually a great job by Scott, not bringing the infield in. One run is not going to win this game. So that ball right there, if the infield's in, gets through, and now it's a big inning where he plays it back, he gets the out, he gives up a run. One run is not winning this game. And if it does, then it does. But I don't think it will.
Line drive softly into center field, will go down for a hit. Fabiano will head over to first base, and Lincoln Waterman, the shortstop, he singled, leading off the second. And Killingly starting to get better swings here in the middle of the order against Malburn.
Speaking of Lincoln, I have to give my stepson a shout out if he's listening. I don't know if my wife is letting him listen. He should be in the shower by now, but Lincoln Waterman, Lincoln Wheeler, my stepson.
Malburn delivers a breaking ball. Center fielder Richmond there to make the play, and quickly back into the infield. And Fabiano will retreat. Waterman lines out to center field, and 2 outs. Jake Boudreau, the designated hitter, will come to the bat. He singled in his first at bat, so he's looking to get his second hit. He slapped that ball through the infield, but with 2 outs, he won't be able to do that. So let's see how he approaches this AB against Malvern, who's done a nice job so far in limiting the damage here to the 1 run.
Definitely. Anytime you got an inning like that, biggest thing is minimize. Take care of what you can take care of. Minimize. Don't let it be a big inning. And like I said, I think Scott did a great job of not bringing the infield in, because I think if he does, then it's a big inning. I think they score 3 or 4 runs right here, the way that they're swinging the bats.
Strike on the outside part of the plate to Bedreau. Chase Malvern here now delivers. Nope, decides to go over, take a peek. Back to the bag is Fabiano. Ground ball off of Malvern's glove. Payne has it, and he will step on the bag to end the top of the 3rd, but a run finally on the board here for Killingly High School after the single wild pitch and error on the catcher got Zadora to 3rd. A single got him in. It's going to be a ground ball by Goodwin, got him in. It's 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Montville will have its 3, 4, 5 hitters coming to the bat, so they'll have Aiden Johnson, Hunter Sylvia, and Chase Malvern. And still on the mound for Killingly with a pair of dangerous innings, but no runs to show for it, is Dominic Kubera. So he'll get back on the bump. Aiden Johnson, the second baseman who singled in his first at-bat, will be in to lead us off here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Again, Killingly's pitcher's done a great job. Both of them were bending, but none of them broke, And Killingly got the first run across last inning, but, Chase is still throwing the ball really well. He's starting to make adjustments out there on the mound. He's throwing the ball really well. So, it's just keep battling. Keep your team in the game, both of them, which they're doing. Like I said, I don't know if 1-1 is going to win this ball game.
Well, there's a lot of good teams up at the top of the ECC. East Lyme, very good. Waterford, very good. Killingly, very good. In Division 3, Bacon Academy, Montville, and Stonington, all 8-2, 7-3 on the year, and they've all beaten each other. Bacon Academy beat Stonington. Stonington beat Montville. Montville beat Bacon. So they're all sitting there at 1-1. Killingly, that tough loss yesterday to Waterford, but their only other loss to East Lyme. East Lyme has been very good as well. NFA having a very good start to their season. And, of course, you talked about arms. You've got Brady Erickson at Woodstock Academy, committed to UConn. Aiden Cochran at East Lyme, committed to UConn. The Joyce brothers will both be pitching high-level college baseball. Matt Champagne, Sheehan, Mattis. You got pitching all over the place, and you're seeing it here. Good arms are everywhere in the ECC.
As I said, it always is, or it always was.
Breaking ball that Johnson is down and away.
Now, do the ECC teams, they play each other twice?
In division.
In division. Okay.
So this will be the only meeting between these two because they're D2 and D3.
Yeah.
The 1-0 pitch to Johnson. Another breaking ball. Here's another baseball 101. When you've been given a 1-0 lead, you don't start the leadoff hitter with back-to-back breaking balls.
You definitely don't want to walk the leadoff hitter.
2-0 pitch to Johnson. Fastball sails high, 3-0.
This is why I have no hair and some gray hair.
Yeah.
Stuff like this.
Yeah, no, it's
frustrating.
It's tough sometimes when.
And I know the young man's not doing it on purpose.
Of course not, but it's tough.
But
ball 4 to Johnson, a 4-pitch walk.
You finally punch one across, your team's excited, and then you go out and you walk the leadoff guy in 4 pitches, which makes you shake your head, but it's one of those things in baseball. It happens too many times, but it drives you crazy as a coach.
Hunter Sylvia steps in.
I think a nice little mound visit might work right here to calm this young man down.
Yeah, that's been 5 straight.
Yep.
Sylvia grounded back to the pitcher in his previous at-bat. Nice. Fastball down. That's 6 in a row. I got to think Ben DeSonia's going to be going out, or the pitching coach.
Yep.
either one is going to be going out soon and on cue. We're good. We're very, very good.
I think we've been around the game a little bit.
Well,
A little. Just a little.
we talked about the pitching that exists in the conference. The coaching in the conference has been good for a long time, too. I mean, we just lost one of the great baseball coaches in the ECC, Gil Vargas. And at the same time, we just dedicated the field at Fitch High School to Ed Harvey. So those both were guys who, when we were coming up and playing, along with your head coach at the time, Jerry Russo, those were the big three. But Killingly has had a good baseball tradition going all the way back. Bucky Lowbush, Steve Pellerin, back in the day, and they were good for a long time. Montville, we talked about the coaches that Montville has had through the year. Jack O'Keefe and Phil Orby and John Susie, Scott Chasen. I mean, Montville's had some amazing coaches. So the coaching in the ECC has been fabulous. And, when you have a pro coaching you, it's not bad.
No. But, I always said the ECC was just, it's, if it's not it's one of the top conferences in the state. I mean, look at Waterford. Waterford has the most state championships in state history, which is 11, right? 11 or
they have the most in baseball.
And I think the next team is either 8 or 9. I want to say it's Amity.
That ball is hit hard, but right at the left fielder. Gould.
Speaking of Waterford, we're hoping there's a little campaign to get the field named after Coach Russo. I hope that comes true. I wrote a nice letter to the committee, and one of the biggest things I wrote was, I don't understand why I'm writing this letter. This should be a no-brainer. I mean, that man built Waterford baseball. National Coach of the Year in, I think, 85.
Chase Malburn takes a fastball high. Malburn walked in his first at-bat. Listen, Jack O'Keefe won more than Coach Russo did, but there is no Jack O'Keefe without Coach Russo, who put that program on the map and started it all. That ball's hit well left field, but Gould is there. He brings it in. Malburn got a good chunk of it, but not enough. And Riley Byer, the catcher, will come up with 2 outs after the leadoff walk. Mound visit. 2 quick outs right after.
Did a great job. Both coaches did good jobs calming their guys down, and the pitchers did a good job of controlling their emotions and getting the outs.
Throw over and into the runner. It hit Johnson on the leg, but he's a football player. He's a quarterback. Shake it right off. Kubera deals. Fastball fouled out of play. 0-1.
This is the one thing we haven't seen tonight, Case. We haven't seen a lot of guys moving.
No, and I don't. I think your point about Zadora being good, but I'd still and Kubera is quick to the plate, but not that quick. Fastball into the dirt, and nice block by Zadora evens the count at 1 and keeps Johnson at first.
Again,
I like to move guys.
You got to, coaching your team, you got to understand your team, and I know the coaches know their team. There you go, just on cue, Case.
And he picked a good pitch.
Perfect pitch.
Onto a
low breaking ball.
Now he's in scoring position, and if Byer can find a way to knock it in, he'll get Montville on the board. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was a swinging strike. So the 1-2 pitch. Riley Byer. Breaking ball. That's a good one.
Pitch. That was a great pitch.
Strike 3. We're through 3. 1-0 Killingly. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Communities that are no longer covered by local newspapers become news deserts that lack journalists providing government oversight and access to quality information. The Day is committed to providing comprehensive news coverage in every town in southeastern Connecticut, but we've had to scale back coverage in some towns, including Ledyard and North Stonington, due to market forces affecting local news companies around the country. We need the continued support of the communities we serve to help fund additional staffing that enables us to provide the kind of coverage our readers expect in every town in the region. If you'd like to support the Day's News Desert Fund, please visit givebutter.com/theday.
Oh, you're just teasing me now. Kong Ice,
Yeah.
you're just right there. You're so close, but yet so far. Top of the fourth here, Killingly 1-0 over Montville. And Killingly will send the bottom three in the order, Joseph Gould, Alex Murdoch, and Jake Voyer to the plate. And Chase Malburn, the Montville starter, only giving up that one run, will be back on the hill. And look at that. What a beautiful night here for baseball. And if you grew up in this area, you know that Dodd Stadium has hosted some of the truly great players. Yankee guys on rehab assignments, young minor leaguers on the come, great retired guys like Dave Winfield and George Brett, legends like Lee Elsey, all hit on this field.
They had the Tigers for a while.
Yep, you see there on the left, the Norwich Navigators. Yankee AA team became the Connecticut Defenders, which was the Tigers A team there. And then now the Sea Unicorns, which is a narwhal.
They've won back-to-back championships, haven't they?
I do not know.
I'm pretty sure they have won back-to-back championships. 23, and I'm pretty sure they won last year.
They won it again last year, yeah.
I'm pretty positive they did.
Joey Gould into the box to face Malburn here in the top of the fourth inning. And Malburn, breaking ball, grounded wide of third, foul.
Being aggressive. Gotta like that as a coach. Get in the box, be ready to hit.
Jersey
in
Mike's.
that yes mode, right?
Yes. Matt McGinnis.
Yeah. And again, talking to him a while ago, he was a pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Pioneer.
Matt McGinnis, we will talk about here in a second. Malburn delivers up and in, and I don't know, how did that not hit him?
That was very close. But getting in the batter's box in the yes mode starts on deck circle. Get in, be ready to hit. Positive. Yes.
1-1 pitch, and Malburn wants another sign. Matt McGinnis, great third baseman, Fitch High School, is coach over there now, used to actually say no when the pitch was just wide.
That was my wife.
Bobby Joe, yes, it's a narwhal. Am I right? The Sea Unicorn is a narwhal? I don't know why. I don't know why we need to. Why can't we just call it the narwhals? But I digress. Matt McGinnis would actually, as a left-hander, had such a yes approach that when the pitch came and it was a ball, he would actually audibly say no, because it was him saying, no, that's not a pitch I want to swing at. Fastball high, 2-1 on the leadoff hitter Gould, and Malburn, who's been flirting with danger all night long, needs to go after the bottom of the order here, having an easy inning. Fouled back, it is 2-2.
That's a good job coming back to 2-1, getting a pitch in the zone. Again, walking the leadoff hitter is going to kill you. I'd rather see him swing his way on.
Good breaking
Great
ball.
pitch.
Little flat, but dangerous flat, right in the top of the zone, and gets Gould looking. That'll bring Alex Murdoch, the right fielder, to the bat. But more than even the not walking the leadoff hitter, you got 7, 8, 9. This is an inning where you have to go and minimize pitches. This has to be a 10, 12 pitch inning in the bottom of the order so that you can extend yourself a little farther. Malburn wants to go 5, 6 innings, and if he has a long one here, he's going to be out after in the 4.
Right. We don't have the pitch count up here, but it's starting to get up there. I'm going to guess he's in the high 50s.
And the other thing too with the bottom of the order, where does the pitch count extend when you go to the top of the order and you start seeing the other hitters? Popped foul out of play, 0-2, and I like Malburn here now. Has kind of got himself into a little groove, pounding the strike zone.
Get the ball, get back on the mound, throw it. He's in a little bit of a groove right here, getting good rhythm.
0-2 pitch. Line drive, and Johnson had it. They say he dropped it. Not a transfer, so that's going to be an E4. And I think Coach Chasen wants to go talk that one over. I am a little surprised. I thought Johnson had it.
And then started to bring it down to.
They're going to say he never had it, and I think that's a tough one, Aiden Johnson.
It's a tough call. I don't know if they can actually go down to the home plate umpire, and he can't see that far to see if the ball was
right,
not. You know, that's his.
yeah.
It's right in his.
It's just a tough one. I think, if they sent that one to New York, it might be different. Instead, it's an E4. Murdoch's on first, and Voyer, who
And that's going
walked.
to turn the lineup around too. So you're gonna, unless there's a double play, you're gonna get your leadoff guy up.
And that's that pitch count. Those are killers. Extra 5-6 pitches.
21 outs is so key in high school baseball. Very rarely do you give them 21 outs.
Now, if you can find a way to keep it under 25, sometimes it feels like that's a winning formula. Malburn's doing his job. He's pounding the strike zone. 0-2 on the 9-hitter Jake Voyer. Murdoch leads. Nice pitch. Strikes Voyer out. And that'll bring us back to the top of the lineup. Hayden Laro, the second baseman, who has had a rough time so far, struck out twice, swinging through all of the pitches that Malburn has offered.
So this is a good spot right here for the runner to go. Because guess what? If he gets thrown out, you still have your leadoff guy. He was actually, I don't know if he was, I don't think that was the delay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of as soon as there's a strike in this situation. So now I'm running. Because if he gets thrown out, I've got my leadoff hitter leading off the next inning. If he gets the stolen base, I got a guy in scoring position.
You're guessing breaking ball right here.
Right. So as soon as I see that first strike, and of course, Montville's no dummies, and they know chess match, right? You think this, I think that. Now the key would be Montville maybe throw a high fastball here. Quick pitch instead. Fastball was thrown. And into shallow center field, Richmond comes on to make the catch. That retires the side. So Laro flies out to the center fielder. That ends the fourth inning. No score that inning for Killingly. And Montville, as we head to the bottom of the fourth, will have their bottom of the order. And they got Cole Chasen, McElwee, and Parkos. And if they can get a guy on, you got Jack Treat, who has had NASA watching his at-bats because they've had unidentified flying objects on every time he's had an at-bat. So get Treat to the box is a strategy for Montville. And
for Killingly is let him lead off next inning.
Dominic Kubera has been really good, shutting Montville out for 3 innings. Same situation that Malburn just faced. You've got the bottom 3 in the Montville order, knowing, by the way, that Treat looms. This needs to be pound the zone, pound the zone. If one of these guys gets a hit, so be it. But you cannot give up any freebies.
Definitely want him leading off next inning. You don't want him getting up with guys in scoring position. But we also say he's not Babe Ruth. So
no, he's human.
He's human.
But baseball, is
but
fun.
He's having a good night.
Baseball's, that way you can see when guys are locked in. He's locked in for sure right now. But I also think sports 101. Don't let the opponent's best player beat you. So, they have a chance to not put it in that position. Starts with Chasen. Chasen had a single in his previous at-bat on a pitch you and I are still not sure how he got to.
How he got his barrel to it. It was a missile in the book.
Chasen says, yeah, Jack, you and I both had line drive singles. Looked almost exactly the same.
He Charlie Brown the pitcher. The hat, the pants, the shirt, everything was off. Kids don't know those, kids don't know that anymore. We're throwing out stuff that they have no clue about.
Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown.
Who's that? Yes, I'm old, I know.
You know who Charlie Brown is?
All right, that gives
there you go. That gives us a little
faith. Cole Chasen here leading off against Dominic Kubera in the bottom of the fourth inning. Fastball swung on and missed, and I like the challenge right off the rip there from Kubera.
Going right at him. Pitching with a lead. So throw strikes, right?
Go at him. Make him beat you. Breaking ball away. I think there's too many breaking balls thrown in general in high school, and I think part of the reason is hitters still, because they're so coached now, most hitters can still hit fastballs, but they can't hit breaking balls. So if you can throw a good one, that one is looped in no man's land, and that is going to drop into right field. So Cole Chasen is 2 for 2 today. This is why I love baseball. Cole Chasen is 2 for 2 today. And I don't know that he would put either of them in the highlight reel someday, but they both count.
Yeah.
You know, we were saying kids at an early age now are being coached on hitting at a very early age. Private coaches, they all learn how to hit fastballs. Breaking balls still cause problems for kids. We don't see a lot of kids who can really sit on breaking balls. So it encourages pitchers to throw breaking balls even when their fastball is because here's the thing. That right there is probably what Cole Chasen's going to do with the fastball.
Right.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Biggest thing I see is, when these kids are young, just get in there and compete sometimes, right? But like you said, the breaking ball. Like the problem is like these coaches are calling the pitches. I would like to see a guy throw his fastball for the first 2 innings so he doesn't show him his whole arsenal of pitches.
Good bunt laid down and beating it out for a base hit. And we're going to get runners on first and second.
But if you think about it, if we were hitters or you're a hitter and you're sitting on the bench, like we said before, you see every pitch he's thrown. Sometimes you can get away with a fastball, like you said. It would be great to throw a fastball the first 2 innings through the line, first 3 times, first 3 innings, and maybe mix a breaking ball in once in a while.
That was a pinch hitter, Richard Walters, who came in to bunt. Parkos pops it up, shallow center field, and it drops, and that's going to load the bases. And when it rains, it pours. You sense the excitement of Montville fans because what I was going to say was if he bunts them, they're going to walk tree.
Right.
You take the bat out of his hands. Now you got bases loaded, and everybody on the Montville side of things is getting excited. You see right there because they know when you were in high school, and I think at times, Mike, it may have been you, but when you were in high school, there was always the guy, one of those really good players who was locked in. And your teammates would get so excited when Lee Elsey was coming up to bat and he was locked in. When you came up to the bat, during the times where you were locked in, something special was going to happen. Your teammates knew you were locked in. It doesn't even have to be, Robbie Simone, great player. There were just times when guys get locked in and everything is in the barrel and good things are going to happen. And right now, I think there's a great mound visit from Ben DeSonia because what do you say here? And I think you used a word, compete.
Yeah, compete. So, again, in that visit, he should have probably calmed them down and say, hey, in this situation, talk to the whole infield. Let's minimize here. Let's not give up a huge inning. Hey, we give up 1 or 2, okay, we can come back and, we're going to be down a run or maybe 2 runs. But don't give up a 5 or 6. Minimize things. Control what you can control right now. And for the pitcher, it's throwing strikes, trying to get Treat out, which is a tough task, but he can do it.
He's 2 for 2 with 2 rockets so far today. First pitch breaking ball just misses. Ball 1. Doubled high off the fence in right field in his first at bat and hit a line drive past the third baseman in his second at bat. There's nowhere to put him here. Bases loaded. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th. The pitch. Breaking ball. Outside. And
is it a bad thing if he walked him?
Listen, I think the final result, what's the best way to only give up 2 or 3? I don't know if pitching to him here down 2-0 is the way to do it.
Because a ball in the gap is scoring 3 runs.
Will he challenge him here 2-0? They go backside wheel, but no one's home, and Richmond was not fooled.
Here, with these big gaps, a ball in the gap is definitely scoring 3, no problem. So again, walking Treat may not be the worst decision in the world. Or not really walking him, but pitching around him, making him hit your pitch. And that's maybe what I would have probably told my pitcher. Hey, here's a situation. We're up a run. Make him hit our pitch.
Well, that was dangerous, that one. Fastball 2-1. Fastball catches the outside part of the plate, 2-2. And I'm going to already give credit to Cabrera because this is a competitive effort right here. He has evened the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Treat. What a huge out for Cabrera.
Again, he pitched him backwards. Honestly, he really did. I don't think Treat was looking for those 2 fastballs that he buried, and then he came back and he threw the breaking ball in the dirt, which I thought he was going to throw more of earlier in the count, and he didn't. So he kind of pitched a little backwards right there and kind of got in Treat's head maybe a little bit.
Campaign, the shortstop, up to bat here with the bases loaded after a big out. As Treat is retired with the bases loaded, Cabrera trying to minimize the damage. So far there hasn't been any, as Montville has 7 hits and still has not been able to scratch across a run. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Payne has struck out and grounded to third. The pitch from Cabrera is a breaking ball off the plate.
And
Chasing,
again, that the pick is driving, again, they're confident in him because they're throwing the breaking ball in the dirt and he's making the pick. But
1-0 pitch to Payne. Another breaking ball. That one drops in nicely for a strike.
you got a guy on third base, and we're not blocking it and fronting it up.
Chasen leads off a third. Richmond off a second. Parkos off a first. Breaking ball. Payne saw that one, sat on that one, and fouled it straight back. 1-2. Now, I'm thinking I might go backwards here. I might not look breaking ball, but I'm got to have breaking ball swing. I got to say, hey, my hands can't move here on this 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball high, 2-2.
See, that one you got to bury. If you bury it, you might get him to chase. By throwing it high, the guy reads it right away as high, and he's going to lay off it. But that one you need to bury.
2-2 pitch to Payne. Breaking ball, ground ball, right to the third baseman. Wild throw, and it goes all the way to the dugout. 2 runs are going to score, and Montville's going to take the lead. Ashton Goodwin with a wild throw, home pulled Zadora off the plate, and that's how Montville gets on top, 2-1.
The throw was off the line a little bit, but one of the biggest things is the catcher started to stretch early, and he was already in his stretch waiting for the throw, where you need to maybe just put both feet on the plate there and read and react to where the throw is and then go get it.
1 out here in Montville with a chance, second and third. Killingly not playing the infield in. Johnson takes a breaking ball for a strike. Johnson has singled and walked, and I'm a little surprised. Are you a little surprised here that the middle of the infield is not in here?
Now 2-1, yeah, I would. But again, this is the number 3 hitter.
Breaking ball over the backside, gets past Zadora, and the third Montville run will come in as Parkos crosses the plate. Montville has unloaded the bases without a hit.
Now I think you bring him in. Yep. Now I think you bring him. Well, you got it. But I don't know if you heard what I said with the catcher. I mean, it's a tough throw. The kid moved his feet. He kind of threw it up the line a little bit. But if you put yourself out there, if you put yourself in the stretch early and you hold, you don't have time to read and react to where the throw is. And I think catcher kind of got himself already in the stretch with his foot on the bag. And if the throw was up a little bit, I think if he just kind of stayed athletic and saw where the throw was, he could have came off and came back.
1-2 pitch to Johnson is a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Strike 3, a very difficult pitch. Cabrera makes a big one, gets a much needed out. And Hunter Sylvia, the third baseman, will be up with 2 outs. Montville loaded the bases on 3 wacky singles, a bloop single, a bunt single, and a soft single, a pop-up, and unloaded the bases without a hit. An error and a wild pitch.
Yeah, they didn't smoke a lot of balls. This kid on the mound has been he's been a bulldog. He's on the short end of this. He doesn't deserve this. Let's put it that way. He really doesn't.
Fastball rides high, 2-0 to Sylvia.
He's made the pitches when he needs to. His defense kind of faltered a little bit there, which happens. It's part of the game.
Again, bloop single down the right field line.
Nothing was hit hard.
Bunt single, bloop single to center field, and then he got a ground ball to third.
And the guy that you're expecting to smoke a ball, he gets him.
Great,
He pitched him great. So it's, this kid is kind of on the short end here. He doesn't deserve this, But again, we talked about it, I think, last inning. 21 outs. Getting 21 outs, it's very hard to do in high school baseball.
3-0 to Sylvia as a fastball taking all the way. Count is 3-1.
Usually it's 27, 28. You give too many.
Payne leads off at third, 2 outs. The pitch, fastball.
There we go.
Blooped into right field. Sawed him off, but it was enough for a hit. Montville has scored 4 runs without a line drive.
That one was a little better. Wasn't smoked.
All right, you know what? It was an RBI single. Hunter Sylvia did a good job, but in Wooden Bat League, that's kindling.
Yeah.
But it's a big pickup. The 4th run of the inning for Montville. They're up 4-1, and Malburn, the pitcher, will come up to bat with a runner on first and 2 outs. No action in the Killingly bullpen.
So for me in this situation, if Malburn gets on, I pinch run for him and then re-enter to give him a little rest.
Yeah.
He is getting deep into this game, a lot of pitches, and if he's going to be running around the bases.
Breaking ball high. Sort of unmentioned when there was Chasen let off with a single, they pinch hit for the designated hitter McElway with Richard Walters.
That ball smoked.
Ball's hit deep, left center, and getting there, tracking it down is Gould, but that was well struck by Malburn. Montville scores 4. They're up 4-1. We're through 4. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com.
Here at Game Day, we're proud to bring you unrivaled video coverage of local high school sports, all of it free for you to watch. These videos are not free for us to produce them. If you'd like to ensure that we can keep covering your school and your teams, there's a few ways that you can support us. Hit up our merch store and pick up some Game Day gear in your school colors. Our camera operators are always looking for those shirts and hoodies in the crowd, and you may see yourself on our next live stream. We get a lot of support from businesses in our community. And if you'd like to join them as a sponsor, send us a message and we can connect you with our advertising staff. Finally, The Day is the organization behind everything we do here at Game Day. If you want to support The Day's community journalism, consider a print or digital subscription at theday.com/subscribe.
Top of the 5th inning here, and suddenly a 1-run lead for Killingly has turned into a 3-run deficit as Montville put up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 4th. They'll send Chase Malburn back out here in the top of the 5th, and he's going to face the 2-3-4 for Killingly, Zadora, Goodwin, and Fabiano. So, Mike, if you're Killingly and you just kind of fell apart a little bit and put up an ugly 4 spot, or saw an ugly 4 spot put up against you, the good news is you got your 2-3-4 guys coming up here. You got to think, though, down 3 runs in the 5th, it's never a do or die or must, but this is maybe their best chance here to get something going.
Definitely in this situation, you talk to your guys and you just say, hey, here's the deal. You're not going to get all 3 back in one swing. So let's just work to cut it in half or get 1 or 2 runs right here. Whatever we need to do, scratch across. We don't want to go down 1, 2, 3, especially with the middle part of the lineup. So if you can get, we get a couple runs here, puts the pressure right back on Montville.
Some of our local Norwich Tech baseball players. Griswold's in the house as well. Norwich Tech, that's Big John right there. John is the grade 8 contributor he's hitting 600 right now, Norwich Tech catcher, and was on the state championship 13 state championship team with A.J. O'Neill, Eli Cheverini back. Dave Donat coached state champions back in 2020. Zadora leading off. The catcher here for Killingly needs to get on base. Malburn delivers. Fastball high. Malburn sitting for a while.
Yep.
So, but now you got to throw strikes here.
Again, you score 4 runs, come straight out, throw straight. That's what you want right there.
That one eats up Johnson. And Zadora is on. And as a coach, isn't this always when things like that happen and you go, oh boy, this is like.
You can feel it.
You can feel it. You know that there's going to be, you're going to be in a crucial situation here. So Johnson's had a tough time over there. Zadora can run. And Goodwin, who doubled deep in the gap in his first at-bat, and also made the throwing error that led to the run. So he wants to do something here.
Yeah. He wants to do something big right here.
And he hits it high in the air to center field. Richmond comes running in and makes the catch for the first out. So
a little aggressive. Pitch was up a little bit. Probably not his pitch early.
No, you might want to, again, the confidence of settling in a little bit, right? Fabiano will step in, grounded to second his first at-bat, and singled in his second at-bat.
My wife was happy. She gave a little shout-out to Norwich Tech. Go Warriors, she said.
All right.
She's an alum.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Now, Norwich Tech, if she's really an alum, she can come to Bacon Academy Friday night, 4 o'clock, as the Bacon Academy Bobcats take on the Norwich Tech Warriors in baseball. 0-1 pitch. Malborn with a nice pitch to start off. That's lined in the gap. They're not going to get that one. Well struck. Fabiano's got power. He's going to cruise into second base with a double. They're going to hold Zadora, but Killingly with a chance to answer back on a big hit from Fabiano. They've got runners at second and third, and Lincoln Waterman, the shortstop, coming to the plate.
The lead runner, I think, could have got a little more in that situation. Ball going away. I don't think the center fielder even had a shot at it. He looked like he stopped halfway. I would have liked to see him get a little more. But the ball was going back towards first base. So, but they are down 3 runs. So you do something stupid and get doubled up on a great play from the center fielder.
And I'll tell you, this is a situation right now. I like Montville's. Like you can already see they're kind of calm about it. Montville has to understand the important guy is at the plate right now.
Right.
2 guys on the base paths matter not. And a big pitch to Waterman pops it up on the infield. That'll be an infield fly, and the catch will be made by Johnson. And Waterman pops out. Now the designated hitter, Jake Bedreau, will get a chance with 2 outs and 2 on. A lot of time teams they start pressing. They forget they have a 3-run lead. The important guy, those 2 guys on base don't matter at all.
Right. It was that guy that just popped out.
And the same thing here with Boudreau. If he were, for example, to get a base hit here, you got to keep him at a scoring position. The guys on the base paths don't matter right now. Malburn with a good fastball, and I give him credit too. He has bared down when he has been in trouble. Tonight, having so far only given up the 1 run.
Killingly did what they needed to do. They got the runners in scoring position, chance to come back and cut the lead like we talked about earlier in this inning, and just get a couple, just to kind of get the momentum back to them. And if Malburn can pitch out of this, the momentum goes right back to Montville.
Boudreau was a little late on that fastball. I think they're going to elevate this time. They do. He gets a barrel on it, but it's out to center field where the reliable Richmond is there waiting for it. And Killingly squanders another opportunity in the top of the 5th. They do not score. And as we go to the bottom of the 5th, Montville with that 4-1 lead. I was talking before, Mike, about in that 4-1 rally that Montville had in the bottom of the 4th, some maneuvering by Coach Scott Chasen. So Cole Chasen leads off with the bloop single, and he pinch hits for his designated hitter McElwee with Richard Walters, who bunts. Perfect bunt,
right.
Beats it out. He then pinch runs with Richards, the center fielder, who McElwee was DHing for. He pitched, so Walters is now out of the game, and he pinch runs with his center fielder and then switches back. So it was a pinch hitter, pinch runner, re-entry.
That's the great thing about high school baseball. You can do so much.
Yeah.
But, again, Scott did a great job because he brought his bunter in.
Well, that's the thing.
He knew what he was doing.
He got his bunter in, then he got his runner in, and then he got his defender back in. Yeah. And that's,
It's the one thing about high school baseball that was crazy. It drove me crazy sometimes because you didn't understand it sometimes, but you could do a lot of stuff in high school baseball. We're moving guys in, pinch running for here, and then re-entering and, making sure, so it was always double checking with the umpires, making sure that, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is, and most of the time umpires didn't know as much as we did, but that was the one thing about high school baseball sometimes. There's a lot of things you can do. Like, you knew this. It happened to you a lot as a player. You're playing second base, and sometimes you got hit for, which is tough.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're in the starting lineup, but you're not hitting. It's different if you're the pitcher and you're getting DH for. I understand that, but you're a position player and you're getting DH for. And it's like, that's tough sometimes.
Well, when I was a sophomore and I got DH for, I was the second baseman on a state championship team. And I had Brian Mercado and Bobby Nena and all these guys that could hit. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. As you get older, though, your junior and senior year, I give kids like that, it's a lot harder. You have to really accept your role. Riley Byer, the catcher for Montville, leads off here in the bottom of the fifth. They have a 3-run lead. Kubera still on the mound for Killingly, delivers fastball on the outside part of the plate for strike one. Byer, then Chasen and McElwee's spot in the order due up here for Montville in the bottom of the fifth. Kubera, breaking ball, lined into left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. So Byer starts the bottom of the fifth with a single, and that will bring up Chasen, the left fielder, who's 2 for 2 without hitting a ball hard. And as I said, I don't think either would be at bats he'd throw in the highlight reel. But he's 2 for 2. Now we're going to get a pinch runner at
27.
First baseman, our pinch runner at first base. Brown is the runner at first, and Chasen is the hitter. So from the stretch, Kubera has been working in and out of trouble. You got him, but just back. If you are the pinch runner, we do not get picked off.
No, you go right to the backside of that dugout and stay far away from the head coach.
Looks like he wants to get a good-sized lead. Fastball, strike two. That if Chasen goes, if you call that for a strike, I don't know that I can. He can still get the barrel to it. He's got it to every place else. 0-1 pitch to Chasen. Outside with the fastball, evens the count at 1. Action in the Montville bullpen. I believe that's Treat.
As I said, it looks like a lefty.
That's Jack Treat. He is their de facto closer when they need multiple innings in particular. Great breaking ball and a lot of strikes. He's that lefty that you go 0 for 3 against and you go home and you go, I don't understand why I went 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Because he hit every spot and made every big pitch and changed speeds. Got him that time.
Yep.
And nice move. They stayed consistent, and they got him.
Coach Chasen's not too happy.
So your recommendation is for him to go to the far end of the dugout?
And the good thing about Dodd Stadium is those dugouts are really big. So I would stay as far down on the opposite end of wherever the coach is.
And it is Treat in the pen for Montville. Chasen spoils that one. 1-2 count. Suddenly with a out and nobody on base. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning.
As a coach, you get so frustrated sometimes, but you also got to remember these kids are 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. Sometimes we give them too much, thinking that they've been playing the game long enough, but you still got to remember they're kids. And emotion, he gets in. He's excited to be out there. He's trying to get second base, get in scoring position. He just got a little excited and did the thing that Coach Chasen did not want him to do.
Kubera, 2-2 pitch to Chasen. Fastball down.
We call that a teachable moment, because now you just bring the young man aside and give him a good talking to.
My bad, Coach.
Yeah.
3-2. Fastball down, and Chasen on base for the third time tonight. 2 for 2 with a walk. He's perfect. And they'll send up
Center fielder number 19.
Richmond. So Richmond, because he pinch ran and got resubmitted, he now occupies the spot in the order that McElwee had. So Montville has lost the DH. Richmond is now hitting for himself with 1 out.
And you said a statement that just drove me crazy. My bad, Coach. And I would say, yes, it's your bad, because you were the one that got picked off. I didn't.
Really? Soft ground ball to third. Across the diamond, Goodwin, nice play to get Richmond.
And that's a good comeback for that young man after making the throwing error, coming in and making a pro move like that.
Chasen gets down to second, and this is a very big at-bat right here for Jeremy Parkos. He has a chance to drive in the run, also turn the lineup back over. And so on the flip side, Kubera, who's battled all night, needs to go after Parkos. Parkos singled in that 4-run fourth for Montville. Breaking ball high. I remember back in 1989.
I never said that.
A young, burly first baseman named Mike Susie may or may not have dropped a foul ball and down the first base line. And as came off the field, the coach said to the coach, "My bad, Coach." Popped up on the infield.
I didn't even get to the mound, and I said that, and then your father yelled at me, "You're darn right, it's your bad." And I turned around. I didn't even make it to the dirt, and I turned around and I went right back to first base because I knew. And it's funny, fast forward 20-something years, 30 years, and I'm coaching, and I made that a statement that was not allowed to be said on my baseball field. My bad. Because, again, if you made the error or you made the mistake, everybody in the park knows it was your bad. You made the error. You don't need to tell me that, sorry, Coach, my bad. I know.
I've never seen anyone not break stride and turn around on a dime and go back faster than you did, though, in that moment, because no one was expecting that response. But, of course, the great Jim O'Neill was not one to shy away from the opportunity for a teachable moment, as you say.
For a short man, he was intimidating.
You think?
We had some pretty intimidating coaches, After playing for Jim O'Neill, I went and played for Porky Vieira for a fall. Rest in peace, Coach. Coach Vieira just passed away last week. Big loss for the New Haven Charger family up in New Haven. I played there for a semester, so that was a tough guy to play for. And then I went to play for Coach Bill Holowati, which 6'4" frame.
Yeah. No, I know.
Standing over you.
That's an intimidating. He was your Gil Vargas.
Yeah, he's very intimidating,
that
man.
That big frame with and certainly wasn't going to let you get away with anything coming from ECC baseball. Here we go to the top of the 6th. Leading off is the left fielder Gould. And if you are Killingly, you got to try to get to the top of the lineup here. It's 7, 8, 9 in the 6th.
That's
ground
a
ball,
good start.
Base hit.
It's a good start right there. How many pitches?
It looks like we got a new pitcher in the ballgame, or did Malvern?
No, that looks like Malvern.
Malvern changed jerseys.
Did he?
Now we have number 1 pitching, and I don't have a number 1 on my roster.
He's always been number 1, I thought.
He was 25.
He did start with number 1.
So that's how much I paid attention. I had him as number 25 the whole time. So Malvern's still on the mound, good, because I'm like, he looks an awful lot like him. Got the facial hair and everything.
Thrown from the stretch.
Murdoch.
Tall, lanky.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Murdoch back over to first base goes Gould. So Gould did his job with the single. Now they got the 8-9 hitters, Murdoch and Voyer, and if they can
get to the top of the line.
around.
Yep, the biggest thing right now for Killing is get to the top of the lineup with some guys in scoring position.
Fastball high, 2-0.
It's one of those games where you feel like if Killingly scores 1, they're going to score 4 or 5, right?
They've been on the verge. Yeah, no, they've been on the verge of breaking it. They're open.
It's one of those games that a team that keeps scratching and not getting the runs across and putting pressure on teams, if they get that one run, they're going to score 4 or 5 in a big inning.
I think if he walks him here, you may see Treat right away. And not only does he walk him, he boxes Byer. That ball gets to the backstop. First and second with nobody out. The 9-hitter Voyer coming up.
And
I think you're going to see Treat right here. And I think Voyer also the lefty. Treat the lefty. So you come in, give Treat the 9-hitter to get himself acclimated before he turns it over to the top of the order. I never like bringing guys in like, hey, it's bases loaded and it's top of the order. You got no wiggle room at all. I like giving him the 9-hitter with some open base to kind of get himself situated and then go after it. But Coach Chasen hasn't pulled him yet.
But you also don't want to leave Malburn in and give him a bad like something happened and give up a double or something happened, and then he comes out and it's not a great, all of a sudden his good outing now turns into an okay outing. But he's going with him. He's sticking with him.
He's going to leave Malburn in the game with runners on first and second, and I'll be now. I don't want to see Voyer bunt. I know a lot of coaches have been doing that. Down 3 runs,
right.
Bunting those 2 guys over doesn't mean anything, and that's giving up and out. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Malburn go after him here and Voyer try to slap one the other way. Treat's thinking it, and he's in on the grass. Strike on the outside part of the plate.
That's a good pitch right there.
The guy that needs to be careful is third baseman. Sylvia's got to be careful.
Yeah, because if they keep pitching him outside, he's just going to slap one right through that hole past the third baseman.
1-1 to Jake Voyer, the center fielder.
That's the one thing that drove me crazy sometimes is when we were calling pitches, we could dictate where we wanted to throw the ball depending on where our defense was. Or if you're going to keep throwing the ball outside to a kid, left-handed swinger, 9-hitter, probably going to slap the ball right through that hole.
2-1 pitch to Voyer is high, 3-1. Killingly definitely in the driver's seat right now as far as the momentum is starting to swing their way.
That's a big
line drive foul down the right field line. So now 3-2. 3-2, you normally send your runners. You don't with nobody out and a left-handed hitter up.
Right.
But if the base runner on first is doing what he should be doing, he should be getting a big, big lead here with Treat in front of him.
We don't want to make the,
Line drive. Base hit down the
fair.
right field line. It's on the chalk, and it's going to score at least one. 1 run is in, and they'll hold him up at third. A big double from the 9-hitter, Jake Voyer, and Killingly has cut it in half. It's 4-2.
Well, give that little guy credit. They kept pounding him in. I thought he was going to slap one the other way early. He didn't. He got a pitch on the inner half, got his hands in, did a good job. Well, it's a big hit for him right there. And like I said, I don't know how much longer I go with Malburn, but
leadoff hitter Hayden Laro to the plate, and Chasen's going to go out and bring in Treat. It looks like open base, 1 out. Open base, no outs, but the tying run is at second. So Montville right now trying to figure out a way to get 3 outs without giving up that second run. Killingly knows that 2 ground balls ties this game up.
But again, it's that situation as a coach that you're kicking yourself because he actually had a great start. He could have left that game last batter 4-1, first and second, with a chance for Treat to come in. Now he leaves the game 4-2 with 2 guys in scoring position. And if for some reason Treat can't do the job and gives up a hit, he's now loses his win. It's not saying that the win is the most important thing for him personally. It's for the team. But what I'm saying is now you've taken a great outing, and now he's kind of bummed out. He's a little mad.
Jack Treat will trade places. Malburn will go to first. Treat will come in, and he'll face the 2 and 3 and maybe 4 hitters of Killingly, Zadora, Goodwin, and Fabiano, the Thunder, in the middle of the Killingly lineup. So Treat coming on in here in a very tough spot. 1 run in, runners on second and third, and nobody out.
It's also a lot easier making the call from up in the booth than not being in the dugout sometimes.
It is, but I also think that, you know what, one of the things, and this is only true in baseball. I'm with you. In all other sports, I am very, very specific to never question coaches' moves because I'm like, hey, you're the coach and you know your team better than me. In baseball, I think both of us, with the experience that we've had, feel comfortable asking the question. But at the end of it, it's that thing. No one knows his team better than Scott Chasen does.
Right.
No one knows the character or the grit of Chase Malburn more than Scott Chasen does. And maybe it's the opposite. Maybe he goes, you know what? I want him to get this out because it's going to propel him.
Right.
And no one's more bulldog than him.
Yep.
So I never criticize coaches for those kinds of decisions because no one knows their team better than they do. But the point you make is that's the downside because you've done it.
Yeah.
You've left the guy in. You've pulled the guy. No matter what, it's the result. If Treat comes in and closes it out, everything's good.
Right.
But if this ends up as a tie game, everyone's going to feel like they ate a lemon.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy sometimes, and it's not it's not pro where they go by the numbers.
Leadoff hitter Laro at the plate. Treat with a big breaking ball goes outside. That's his money pitch. He spots the fastball, but Treat throws the big breaking ball for strikes an awful lot. Laro's 0 for 3 on the day, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. Fastball on the outside part of the plate for a strike.
It's always a feel, it's a gut. And sometimes your gut's right, sometimes your gut's wrong. And you know what? You got to live with it at the end of the day.
1-1 pitch to Laro. Breaking ball for a strike. And that's Treat. He's gonna spot the fastball. He throws hard enough to make you trouble, but the big rolling breaking ball is that bread and butter pitch. 1-2 on Laro, who wants to put it in play and get at least one of these runs home. Fastball, try to sneak it by him, just wide. He does throw hard enough that if you're looking for that breaking ball, he'll sneak it by.
He will sneak the fastball by you. He's sneaky. And his breaking ball will make his fastball look faster.
2-2 pitch. There's the big breaking ball, but he misses outside. 3-2. On Laro. Second and third, nobody out. The pitch from Treat. Fastball down, strike 3. The throw to first, and he is out. A tough night for Laro. It's
now
his third strikeout.
I know you don't love it, but I had a little theory called the chaos theory that I learned from a very good coach who was actually the head coach at the University of Rhode Island, Ralph Soretto. And in that situation there, I might have squeezed right first pitch. And the reason why was chaos. Malburn goes out. They're not thinking it. Jason's thinking of switching. He's bringing Treat in. Everybody's moving. No one's thinking it. The first pitch is the greatest time to do some action when there's chaos going on, whether it's an error, whether there's something going on. That might have been a situation where a kid's struggling at the plate. He drops a bunt down. Now it's 4-3 with a guy at third base, and we squeeze.
Zadora, ground ball, foul, and 2 strikes. I
happen to call it the chaos theory.
So I agree with you. And Gil Vargas, my high school coach, believed in it as well. He believed in when they were on their heels, skating a little bit, do something wacky.
Best time to do something.
Because they're going to make a bad decision.
Right. They're not thinking it. And I don't think anybody was thinking it. You bring Treat in, you're thinking getting your big gun in.
Nope, first pitch squeeze, it's 4-3, runner on third, middle of your order, and all of a sudden, and you might get something wacky out of it. It's not a terrible play. I'll tell you the other side of it here in a moment. 2-strike pitch from Treat to Zadora. Fastball, grounded up the middle. Payne ranges over. Makes a great play for the second out. Cam Payne ranging.
That was a nice play right there. That ball was 4 steps on the second base side of the bag.
Makes it a 4-3 game, and the tying run is 90 feet away as the third baseman, Ashton Goodwin, I remember said last time he wanted to atone for the error. Here's his second opportunity. I think against high school teams, the chaos theory is a great idea. It works well. New London Legion.
I did it for 12.
New London Legion prided itself on taking your chaos and taking the out and saying, okay, you want to squeeze, we'll take the out because we're not rattled by that notion. Tough play down the right field line, but Parkos is there, and he makes the catch that ends the inning. And Killingly has nudged it a little closer, 4-3, but they can't quite get all the way back. We're heading to the bottom of the 6th. Montville holding on. Treat did a nice job there coming in and getting those outs.
Threw strikes, gives up the run, but on a ground ball, that Payne made a great play. I thought that when it first was hit, I thought it was through, just because where the second baseman was. But Payne made a great play right there. Like I said, he was four steps on the second base side of the bag, which makes that play. That's a huge play right there for him. Because again, he's ranging that far. He kicks it, all of a sudden things start falling off, right? That 2 or 3 run inning goes to a 4 or 5 run inning, and now you're losing going into the bottom of the 6th instead of having a 4-3 lead. But that was a great play. But Jack came in and did exactly what he needed to do through strikes, minimized. Talk about minimizing stuff, slowing the game down, not getting out of hand, and he minimized, and now they still got a lead going into the 6th.
And Dom Kubera still out there for Killingly. He has done a fabulous job here tonight, and he's going to go out and see if he can close them down in the 6th and get that middle of the order up in the 7th and see if they can find a way to scratch something across.
You know what was great about it, going back to the chaos theory with my kids, was they bought into it and they loved it. Like they knew, you know what I mean? Like when things went wrong and they made an error and the coach was screaming and yelling on the other side and the kids was kicking dirt because they were mad, and then they switched pitchers. Like the kids would look at me knowing that we were going to do something crazy or do something wacky that first pitch because they loved the chaos theory. They bought in. And that's the big thing, getting a team to buy in and getting behind you. And when it went right, it was awesome,
One of Gil Vargas' ways of doing this, which I loved, runner on third, second and third, whatever, and they walk the guy. Or runner on third, nobody on second. Runner on third, and the guy walks, right? And he starts going, Wheeler, 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 and the guy in first just keeps going. And it's just, in that moment, you're thinking, if I'm up 4-1, I'm just gonna throw the guy out. I don't care about that. But in that moment,
you panic.
Everything's moving, and we had more guys just either eat it and we get a free runner in scoring position, or airmail it. We'll get a couple runs. Treat leading off here in the bottom of the 6th. He's had a big day with 2 hits, and he fouls that one off down the left field line, out of play into the bullpen. It's 0-1. Dom Kubera's done a very nice job on the mound here. Other than that one wacky inning where he gave up 4 without a hard hit ball and without help from his defense, he has pitched brilliantly.
He's pitched a good game. He really has. He's bulldogged it.
There was action in the Killingly bullpen previously, so I would expect that he's on a short leash here. One pitch to Jack Treat. Breaking ball wide, 2-1. Payne.
See, this is a situation where, again, do you want to walk him or do you want to go at him? And if he hits a ball in the gap, he hits the ball in the gap. I mean, but
ground ball foul. He was looking for an inside fastball to turn on, and he just was a little bit ahead of it. It's 2-2. Payne and Johnson on deck for Montville.
I would just go at him and tip my cap if he smacks one.
Breaking ball high,
just
3-2.
We talk about that. Just the walk is just deflating sometimes.
He could hit it. He could hit it on the button right at somebody too. He could hit it to the warning track.
Right.
There's other ways. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to second. Big hop, and 1 out as Treat goes 4-3 to start the 6th, and that'll send Cam Payne, the shortstop, who we've seen make a couple of really good defensive plays.
Yeah, he's been solid out there today.
And considering that he's a sophomore, it's a great thing to have a sophomore anchoring your infield like that.
That's the biggest thing. Strength up the middle. We always talk about it. If you get a good catcher, you got good shortstop, good center fielder, you build around those guys.
Well, the catcher for Montville, Riley Byer, and the second baseman, Aiden Johnson, are their only seniors. It's a very young Montville team still. This was supposed to be the bridge year to the championship year.
Okay.
But they might be in championship mode already. They're close. You're going to have to replace a catcher, but all the pieces are in place right now. This is a very young Montville team that has been growing together for a number of years. Last year, they were not bad. They were a team that lost more than they won, but you could see it. You'd say, "Oh boy, I don't want to see them in a year or two."
And Scott did the right thing. You put the guys out there and you let them grow. You know.
Yeah, they took
sometimes
some
it's not the most popular thing to do in the culture or in the school, because you got maybe seniors that didn't play, but for the long haul and for the program, you put your young guys out there and you let them marinate and you let them learn. Trial by fire.
Yeah, fastball for the strike to fill the count up at 3-2 on Cam Payne.
And it's only making you better.
3-2 pitch from Kubera to Payne. Just off the plate, he walked him.
But I said it's always not the most popular thing in the world, because people think that you should play the older kids. But, you know, sometimes it's not the most popular thing to do, but it's the right thing to do sometimes.
Because as a parent, it's only about your kids.
Yep.
So when you're the parent of the underclassmen and you're going, "Why are you playing the seniors? These kids need to develop." But when you're the parent of the senior, you're going, "Why are you playing these kids? He's a senior."
Yeah.
Fouled, backing out of play. Strike one. Johnson would love to do something good here. He singled, walked, and struck out. Had a tough road of it out there at second base. Been charged with 2 errors, though. I think one of them was instant replay would have probably overturned. Johnson, a scholar athlete, football quarterback at Montville, member of the basketball team, 3-sport athlete. Also a counselor at Batter Up Baseball Camp in the summertime.
Hey, the BUP going into their, I want to say it's almost 30 years. 31. Coach Pacetto does a great job at the BUP. Get your kids there. You want to learn baseball, have some fun, enjoy it. It's a great camp. I worked it for many, many years. It was a good time.
Yep. AJ as a camp counselor. I like to go. I'm a part of the board. I'm part of the roving board of directors.
Gotcha.
I wander. Pitch up and in on Johnson. Evens the count at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Montville in the bottom of the 6th, trying to tack on a couple of insurance runs if they can. Kubera. There goes the runner.
That's
Payne.
what I was expecting.
Good throw down, but Payne steals the base.
I was expecting that. Or I was hoping. Get the runner in scoring position now.
Johnson looking to drive him in and give a little bit of cushion to the Wolves. Breaking ball lined just over the second baseman's head into right field for a base hit.
That's a good piece of base running right there that was Payne out at second base.
Yes.
He froze on the line. Most of the time the kids are just going to start taking off. That kid's going to make a great play. He's going to get doubled up because he gets anxious. Now you got first and third. A lot can happen. You can run the runner. You can do a lot of things. But he did a good job on freezing on the line drive right there.
First and third, the 4-hitter Sylvia coming to bat. You got to think they're going to move the base runners around. So Montville should have a chance here with the middle of the order to tack on some insurance. But we're going to have a pitching change here as Dominic Kubera's night is done. He pitched valiantly, gave them a very good effort.
Great effort. I think he's on the short end right here. He was unlucky in this situation.
So Waterman will come in for Killingly from the shortstop position. And they'll have a new shortstop in the game.
Speaking of the BUP, reason why I can't do the BUP anymore is I got a business.
Yeah, by the way, you gotta be careful you rolled in to Sporties.
I did.
Today. And speaking of Sporties, we, of course, at the end of this one, will award our Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day, and they'll get a shirt courtesy of Sporties. You rolled into Sporties looking like a hobo because you got this Susie Power Washing gear on.
Yeah.
But it needs a
Getting
little
raggedy.
love.
I need some love. Yeah, I need a print a screen printer. Do we know one?
I think you should head down to Sporty's in Waterford, and we'll take care of all your needs. That's it for Susie Power Washing.
Susie Power Washing. You know.
I think Peter Wappy's ready for you to come and work out a driveway. So
Got to get that oil stain done.
Treat, by the way, down in the bullpen, staying loose. I think that is an underrated. That's when your head coach pitched in the major leagues. That's the kind of thing like, hey, you need to go down and just toss because
stay loose
and just stay locked in here because this could take a while.
This is a long inning.
So Waterman's going to come in with runners on the corners and 1 out. Montville trying to add to a 4-3 lead. Waterman heading to Husson. He'll be playing baseball there. Husson, who has Bacon Academy's Chris Lesignan there right now, so the ECC represented at Husson.
So you think Sylvia likes Aaron Judge?
Yes. And so, just to tell you what just happened, Johnson broke for second, which we thought they would.
Yeah.
Waterman was not sweating it, stepped off and said, I'm going to throw you out, but made a bad throw. And so now we have second and third. The infield will come in, and Sylvia with his homage to Judge at the plate. Fastball high, ball 1. Waterman does have a big frame and a big fastball.
By the way, we grew up in the Barry Bonds era of him swinging the bat and just being incredible. But the numbers that Aaron Judge is putting up is ridiculous.
Fastball, strike. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy in the American League and a guy in the National League who are doing things we've never seen before. We thought, it couldn't get any better than Mike Trout after Barry Bonds. It turns out it can.
Yeah.
And we're seeing guys like Judge and Otani doing things we just didn't know they could do. Nice pitch on the outside corner by Waterman. Gets Sylvia. It's 1-2. I mean, we never thought we'd see a guy of Judge's size who could do the things he can do, run, throw, the kind of power that he has, the kind of hitter he's become. And then Otani, I don't know how you ever get him out. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball outside, 2-2.
By the way, your favorite lady who's listening, that's her favorite player.
Mom loves Aaron Judge?
Mom loves Aaron Judge.
All right. I can't blame her. What's not to love?
So,
Captain
shout out to Mom.
Yes.
Listening, maybe.
Fastball outside corner freezes Sylvia. Big pitch from Waterman. And Malburn will come up here with runners on second and third, but now 2 outs. Boy, what a big chance here for Waterman to stop this and hold it at a 1-run lead. At least give Killingly a chance. It's such a big difference. Sometimes the difference between 1 and 2 is not just 1. 1 run, you feel like we can figure this one out. We can scratch our way to a run. 2, sometimes you're thinking,
huge.
like, how do I get 2?
Yep.
As a coach, as a player, all you need
is one guy get on.
And if you feel like I can get this guy in, but 2 takes some effort. 1-0 pitch from Waterman to Malburn. Fastball.
He's got a good arm.
Oh, yeah. I don't like when shortstops come into pitch because they're always going to throw it. They're going to throw hard. 1-1 pitch to Chase Malburn. Change up in the dirt, 2-1. Well, to me, so again, as a lifetime Red Sox fan, I do not like the Yankees. Oh, I shouldn't say I can't root for the Yankees. But 2-1 pitch from Waterman to Malburn. Fastball high. I'm a baseball fan first and foremost. And there are players. Back when I was a kid, there was no way I could root for. I mean, I hated all Yankees so much. But I've come to a point in my life where I can appreciate players.
Right.
I can say, what, I don't root for them. But 3-1 pitch coming here to Malburn. And it's down. The bases will be loaded. And that will bring up Riley Byer, the catcher, with the bases loaded, a chance to break it open for Montville. I never liked Jeter because I grew up during the Nomar, A-Rod, Jeter triangle. But to be the face of the franchise, never have a scandal, never take a day off, always play hard, always play big, always talk to reporters, never do something stupid, represent the game himself. I have nothing but respect for Derek Jeter, and I feel the same way about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. As I've gotten older, I just appreciate baseball, and I appreciate actually what the Red Sox are doing. I'm not a Red Sox fan. You know that. You don't like the Yankees. I don't like the Red Sox. But I can appreciate what they're doing with their minor league system and how good it is and the young players that they brought up, and they're sticking to it. And they're going with it. And they're a good team.
Yeah.
They're the Yankees of 2017, 2018.
That core four.
That core, when they were young and they didn't think they were going to have a good year. And all of a sudden they surprised everybody, I think, and took the Astros to Game 7. I think it was 2017, 2018. But they were like, well, this isn't the year that I think this is the year that the Red Sox surprised a lot of teams.
I think you're right. 2-1 pitch here. No place to put Riley Byer.
And I appreciate baseball, and I appreciate what programs or franchises do and how they build things.
Waterman delivers. That's down 3-1. He needs to throw a strike here, or they're going to gift him that insurance run.
This could be the pitch of the game.
3-1 pitch from Waterman to Byer. Misses badly with a fastball. Ball 4.
And we just talked about it.
Run.
Now it's 2 runs going into the 7th. Like I said, I think that was the biggest. That was the biggest pitch of the day right there. Because if he can get to 3-2, it puts a little. You get back to 3-2, it puts the pressure back on the hitter, more than the pitcher.
And he's not out of it yet. You still got Cole Chasen, who's 2 for 2 with a walk. Still got to get this guy. And the reason why 2, especially with Treat on the mound, Treat's not a guy who walks a lot of people. He's a lefty, so he's hard to run on. That extra run's going to be challenging, and he's also savvy enough. He'll underhand it before putting you on first. So he's not the kind of guy I want to try to scratch multiple runs across. So this is a big spot here too, because again, 1's doable, 2 feels challenging, 3 feels like we're all done.
But we always said it, the last 3 outs of the game are the hardest.
So this
especially at high school baseball.
Yeah, this is the part where you, as a coach, you're trying to figure out every way to avoid a doomsday scenario. Good pitch by Waterman, strike 1 on Chasen. As I mentioned, he's got 2 singles and a walk. Nice job there by Zadora, blocking that tight slider from Waterman. It is 1-1.
Now what's going to happen with this guy, with Jason, is he's going to smoke one. And it's going to go right at somebody. You know,
hardest hit ball ever.
Hardest hit ball he
left
hit all day.
Track it down
and smoke a line drive right at the second baseman.
Happens all the time. The line drives at the second baseman are still a sore subject with me. 2-1 pitch from Waterman. And that one is popped up into no man's land. That's going to be dangerous, but and it drops. It drops, and good base running by Malburn. He was going hard all the way. Laro lost it for a moment, dropped it, and 2 runs are going to score, and that's going to be the cushion Montville was so desperately looking for. Richmond will come to the bat, but now 7-3. Montville not only answered the 2 runs that Killingly put up, they added another to extend the lead, 7-3. Strike on the hands of Richmond.
Again, trying to get those 21 outs is not easy. I used to love our practice when we did 21 outs. It would take forever sometimes because they couldn't do it. It's not easy at the high school level.
Outside, 1-1. Waterman, you can see why he's tough because he's wild.
Yeah.
But he slings it and he's wild. So when he's in the zone, he's got to be real tough.
Definitely 3/4 arm slot. Hides the ball pretty well.
That's a good pitch on the outside part of the plate. 1-2 on Eric Richmond. Richmond, the junior center fielder, with a 1-2 count. Waterman deals. Richmond wanted to go, but the slider's outside. It's 2-2.
Definitely, he's definitely frustrated. Understandable, but he's got to control himself here, get his team in the dugout, give him an opportunity.
Wild high, full count. Everyone's going to be moving. You talk about chaos. This is the definition of it right now. Bases full, 2 outs. Everyone's moving. And Waterman's got to try to throw a strike here to Eric Richmond. There they go. Pitches to the plate. Fastball outside. He walked them. And the bases are loaded. So I was wrong because their bases were not loaded. The error scored 2, but the runners were going, and so now it's bases loaded. And we're going to see a mound visit from
I think
Ben DeSonia.
He might switch here, save this. I don't know how many more games they have this week, but pitch count is always a thing in high school, right?
He's going to pull Waterman.
He can bring them back under a certain amount of pitches, and
Yeah, this is always the week as you enter May. It's always the week where you have the 4-game week or the 5-game week because of the rainouts and the things that happen.
yeah,
so
everything gets pushed.
I wouldn't be surprised if Killingly has multiple games. Plus, they're coming off a real tough one yesterday against Waterford. So,
Speaking of legends, Brent Southworth just popped in and said hello.
The
Norwich
NFA Stallion, Brent Southworth. So, back in 1989, we mentioned the My Bad, Coach Mike Susie. Another episode, we were playing a game in Binghamton, New York, against Gonzales, Louisiana, a very, very good team. The Bulldog himself, Coach Susie here, was probably at about a pitch 106 in the 4th inning. When a player with a Cajun name, Robidoux, Babado, Dibby Dabadoo, got up and hit a ball so hard it had actual flames coming on one side and tears on the front side. And a second baseman, athletic second baseman, got up a good 4 or 5 inches off the ground, only to have that ball dive right onto the bone in his wrist. I think my major league career, that was the moment when I realized my major league career was over. Emergency room in Binghamton, New York at 2 o'clock in the morning because the guy hit a laser beam off you.
But if you were supposed to catch it with your wrist, then the glove would have been made a little differently. You're supposed to catch it in the actual pocket.
The ball defied the laws of physics. It got hit so hard. It might have actually broken the sound barrier.
I want to say I supplied most of the power. I think he just barreled it up.
You can say that if you want to say that. Fabiano will be the pitcher coming into the game for Killingly with the bases loaded. And he'll face the 9-hitter Parkas. But it was nice spending 2 o'clock in the morning in Binghamton, New York on the day before. I had to miss the Cincinnati game the next day because my wrist was wrapped up. So I don't know if you can sense it, but I don't think I've ever quite forgiven you.
You've never forgiven me for that. Have you ever forgiven Robbie for hitting you with
that was my fault.
a missile?
That was my fault.
Second base right in the jaw.
I wasn't paying attention.
You had a lot of injuries.
It didn't shut me up, and I didn't stop playing.
Yeah.
Fabiano, bases loaded. Parkas in the pitch. Nice fastball on the outside part of the plate. Strike 1. Can I just say, everybody seems to have guys that just throw dots.
I know. I don't remember this when I was in high school.
I mean, I remember there being a good one, but you get to the third guy, and you're supposed to be facing someone throwing up balloons. Fabiano just threw a fastball on the black. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball high.
Nice breaking ball.
One.
Yeah, it's like the pros. Every guy comes in from the pen throwing 99. I mean, never. Even in college, I love watching college more than I do the pros. I sit there on ESPN Plus and I watch 8 different games. SEC. I love the SEC baseball. And it's ridiculous, the arms that they're pulling out. And these guys are, like, not being used. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, he hasn't pitched in a week, and he come in throwing 96.
With sliders.
Ridiculous.
Fabiano here finds himself down 3-1 and in danger of turning the lineup over again. That's a good pitch right there, 3-2. So now
you've got the kid.
Now we've got the 3-2, 2 outs. Everyone's going to be moving. Fabiano's going to be dealing to Parkos. Treat wants a chance at a 5th at bat. He's on deck if we get there. Here they all go.
There it is.
Fastball high, and Parkos walks, and that'll load the bases for Treat. I got a crazy one for you. You ready?
Number 3, Jack.
If Jack Treat clears the bases, we could be on our way. They have a chance they could mercy him. They're up
Right.
to. They're only 8-3. They're only 5 runs away. The wheels start falling off when you can't throw strikes. Jack Treat doubled, singled, struck out, and grounded out to second. It is 8-3 here in the bottom of the 6th.
And think about the starting 2 pitchers. Did a great job throwing strikes. Chase did a great job, and so did the Killingly pitcher. They both threw strikes. And
minimized the damage when they could. Fabiano's got to throw one here. Bases loaded. Treat waits. Fastball is, or breaking ball rather, is outside and high. It's 2-0. No place to put him, as the wheels have come off a little bit here for Killingly as far as getting the ball in the strike zone. The pitch. Good breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. 2-1. Pitch to Treat. Breaking ball high. 3-1.
big situation here.
Fabiano.
What do you do?
3-1 pitch. Fastball.
You say hit it. Here you go. I'm going to challenge you with my best, which is the fastball.
Treat fouls it off. Now we're back to 3-2. 2 outs with the bases loaded. Everybody's going to be on the move. Fabiano will go wind up, so everyone's going to have even more running room. There they go. The 3-2 pitch. Fastball fouled down the left field line. I think that was ball 4, but Treat went after it and fouled it off. We'll do it all again. As a base runner, I did not like this. The guy on first.
You get so frustrated.
The guy on first, you're halfway to third, and you got to go crawl it back again. Oh. Do it like it happens 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
You're ready to drop.
Especially on the 98-degree day on a Sunday afternoon in a doubleheader somewhere.
Inside to Treat, ball 4.
Right.
And another run comes
up in
across.
Madison. We're playing Madison. It's 98 degrees on a Sunday, and it's 3-2 and falls off 3 or 4 pitches.
Montville has officially batted around. Cam Payne, who will come on in here and foul it straight back. Payne led off the inning with a walk. Good breaking ball gets Payne to chase. It's 0-2. Breaking ball fouled back. Keeps him alive.
As you said, you do see a lot more breaking balls. Huh.
Way more.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch to Payne. Fastball. That's a good one. Got past him. But Montville tacks 5 more runs on. And as we head to the 7th inning, they have a 9-3 lead. We'll be back to see if Montville can finish them off. You're watching Game Day Live on theday.com. Last year, Waterford senior number 4 on the grade 8, the Olympico kick. I'm here with Cam Dickinson. I don't think she can pull it off. It looks way too hard. I think it was a fluke. Get it done.
I got it.
That was just too easy, and that is a grade 8 play. Send in your best plays and see if you can beat that and make this year's grade 8 Olympico style.
Relive a century of history from the perspective of southeastern Connecticut with the new hardcover book, Front Page News, a century of big stories in the day, 1881 to 1981. This 136-page limited edition book captures the pulse of a region and a nation, showcasing the day's most iconic front pages from its first 100 years. Order today at theday.frontpagesbook.com.
Tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Roberto's Log Cabin Restaurant. Nestled in the woods of Lebanon, Connecticut, Roberto's Log Cabin is the cozy rustic home of comfort food. Family owned and operated, the Cabin, as it's fondly known, offers a diverse menu of hearty fare from burgers to the best ribs in the state. So come check out the Hallway of History in the newly renovated tavern, sample the diverse menu, get your craft beers and cocktails, all while watching your favorite sports on one of their 10 TVs. Stop in, see Rob and the crew, and tell them Game Day sent you. Player of the game by Roberto's Log Cabin Restaurant. Here we are in the top of the 7th inning. Killingly's going to need to try to find a way to get base runners on. They'll lead off Michael Fabiano. He is 2 for 3 with a double and a single. Jack Treat stays on the hill from Montville, looking to close it out. And the first pitch in on the hands is flared into center field. Richmond comes in, makes the play, and a quick 1 pitch, 1 out. Gone are the days of taking a strike.
I was going to say, well, there's a point. I mean, down a couple runs, 1 or 2, yes, you definitely want to take your strike. You're down 6, I don't know. Sometimes, again, you're sitting in the dugout going, you know, is it gonna change anything? Not change anything, but I mean, is it gonna really? And they're hacking.
Breaking ball is hit down the left field line hard by Waterman, and he'll cruise in to second base with a 1-out double.
But like you said, the days of taking a pitch to put some pressure on him to get some guys on base doesn't seem like they're there.
Designated hitter Jake Bodro comes on in. He is 1 for 3 on the day, and Waterman will lead off the second base, 1 out. Treat will operate from the stretch. Fastball swung on and missed. It is 0-1. Treat challenging him with that heater. The 0-1 pitch from Treat. Gives the runner a look. Fastball down, 1-1.
We talk about it. It's always kind of weird. Like lefty against lefty, it was so hard. But we were right-handed batters and we faced righties, so it was different. But the biggest thing we always talk to our left-handed hitters is almost if you get a lefty that's just that nasty, you just kind of think hit and run, which keeps you short. Just tries to barrel the ball up and not try to do too much.
Treat 3-1, getting behind here on Boudreau. Killingly trying to get some base runners here, see if they can get something across. Got it on his hands, ground ball down to first base. Malburn corrals it easily. Takes it himself for the second out as Waterman moves over to third, and Killingly down to its final out will send left fielder Joseph Gould. He's struck out twice and he's singled in his last at bat, so Joey Gould with a chance here. Extend the game for Killingly. Treat trying to nail it down.
A little footloose for you.
Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Touches black, strike 1. Joey Gould played a good left field. Treat. Big breaking ball. Drops in, strike 2. 1 strike away from Montville. They've only lost once this year. This would be a big win going up a division, taking on Killingly. Treat. Big breaking ball just high, 1-2.
I was going to ask, or I was going to say it last inning, but I didn't want to jinx it. But that's a big win for Montville.
It is. They haven't been. They're going up a weight class this time against Killingly. If you look at their wins, they beat Waterford 2-1. That was a big one. This is another one. The pitch from Treat gets to the backstop. Waterman is going to score on the wild pitch. That'll get Killingly a run closer, 9-4, and it'll fill the count at 3-2. Treat's going to need to throw a strike here if he wants to go home. Full count on Joey Gould.
We saw a little bit of everything tonight. It was one of those baseball games, high school baseball. We saw a lot. We saw some errors. We saw some hits. We saw So a little everything.
Freezes them
There it
for
was.
strike 3. Treat closes out the game, and Montville wins 9-4. You're going to want to stay tuned here stay tuned to our social media at Game Day CT, where you can see the Roberto's Log Cabin Player of the Game Day, as well as an interview with head coach Scott Chasen as Montville with a nice win over Killingly 9-4. Game Day will be back here at Dodd Stadium on Friday, May 9th for Bacon Academy and Lyman Memorial. That'll be the next chance for them to get a hold of you, Mike Susie. So thank you very much for your debut tonight on Game Day.
Great time. This was great. Thank you for getting me back. I enjoyed it. We saw a good baseball game. Saw a lot of different things, but it was high school baseball, and I'm just glad to be around and had a chance to sit in the booth with you and talk baseball. And not that we don't do this whenever we're together, but it's nice to do it in a different setting.
So for all the crew here tonight, and for Mike, Susie, I'm Casey O'Neill. You've been watching Game Day live on Day.com.